Kuki MLAs in the state have demanded the extension of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. 10 Kuki MLAs, including 7 of the state's ruling BJP-led alliance, have demanded the AFSPA be extended to the entire state. They say they wish to recover over 6,000 sophisticated weapons looted by Meiteis since May 3rd of last year. On November 14th, the centre had reimposed the AFSPA in Manipur's 6 police station areas, including the violence-hit Jiribam. The 10 Kuki MLAs seek to reimpose the AFSPA in the remaining 13 police jurisdictions. The Kuki legislators, including 5 of the BJP and 2 of the JDU, said that the central and state governments must take steps to restore peace and normalcy by initiating the political dialogue. Amid an escalation in violence in Manipur, 8 companies of the Central Armed Police Force have reached the state's capital, Imphal, on Thursday. They were deployed in sensitive and fringe areas.
And viewers, let's move ahead right now. Big developments coming out of Telangana today. Now, the state's caste census has reached a major milestone, with surveys now covering over 90 lakh households. Some districts are already hitting impressive targets, but there is a lot more to that story. What does this data mean for future policies, and how is this public reacting to this development? Well, for that, you have to watch this report by our bureau, where we explain what could we expect next.
Amid the simmering political showdown over caste census, Rahul Gandhi has claimed that Telangana has completed 70% of the caste census. He has further questioned the centre's reluctance to address caste-based representation in various sectors. The Congress has lauded the move and called it a significant development towards what it claims as equality and justice.
See, basically BJP and TRS are not in favor of caste census. आम जनता गरीब आदमी का फायदा होना उनको पसंद नहीं है. तो जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अंडर द लीडरशिप रेवंत रेड्डी जो डिसीजन हम लिए ही है, कैबिनेट में डिसीजन करे, असेंबली में डिबेट हुआ, उसके बाद बिल बना, उनके अनुसार आज सर्वे हो रहा है. ऑलमोस्ट 70 to 75% कास्ट सेंसस हो गया और ये फ्री एंड फेयर सेंसस हो रहा है. तो इनको कहीं ना कहीं डिस्टर्ब करना है बीजेपी वालों को.
BJP leaders, however, have criticized the Telangana government's caste census. Senior BJP leader N. Ramchandra Rao called the state survey an eyewash, claiming it lacks transparency and credibility.
The caste census which the Congress party is undertaking is a farce. BJP is not against the caste census, but BJP is against the caste census being misused for the political purposes and for other purposes, because this is data, and this data can be misused by the Congress party. And for that, I would like to ask the Congress party that you have introduced many schemes in Telangana state. How many people are getting benefit of those schemes?
He stated that the survey is politically motivated and meant to mislead the public rather than provide actionable data. The Congress party has also promised caste surveys in Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
Viewers, remember, it is on Saturday when the results will come out of Maharashtra Assembly elections. Now we see Maharashtra politics heating up. MVA begins booing independent candidates ahead of results, even as Maharashtra awaits the outcome of the crucial assembly elections. The MVA, a coalition comprising of the Shiv Sena, UBT, the NCP and Congress, have sprung into action, reportedly reaching out to independent candidates expected to win in key constituencies. Sources within the MVA reveal that its leadership has initiated talks with potential kingmakers among independent candidates, aiming to bolster its position ahead of the anticipated post-election political maneuvering. This proactive move comes amid intense speculation over whether any party or alliance will secure a clear majority in the 288-member assembly. That is right. With the electoral verdict looming, political observers say that independents, often considered as swing factors in hung assemblies, are poised to play a pivotal role. Independent candidates across constituencies with strong voter bases and high probabilities of victory have become the focal point for party strategists. Okay, so we're getting these back-to-back updates coming in right now on Republic TV. And remember, ahead of those crucial results on Saturday, where you remember that you will be tuning in on Saturday and getting all the latest numbers here on Republic TV from 8 a.m. onwards. But as we wait for the results, MVA is holding late-night talks and trying to woo independent candidates over to their side. Let's move ahead, viewers. We take you now inside the Jawahar Tunnel, a crucial lifeline of Jammu and Kashmir, now undergoing a high-tech transformation with cutting-edge safety systems and advanced monitoring. This modern marvel is strengthening connectivity and security in the region. Stay with us for an exclusive look at the Jawahar Tunnel project.
Nestled within the rugged terrain of the Peer Panjal range, the Jawahar Tunnel has long been a vital lifeline for both defence and civilian transportation. Now a modern marvel, the renovation of this project has been undertaken by the Border Roads Organisation. Republic takes you to this historic tunnel that hosts high-tech systems and equipment.
You have the telecommunication, then you have the fire brigade, firefighting system, and also as far as the seepage issue that has been resolved and the pavement surface repaired after years of wear, enhanced durability and vehicle-friendly infrastructure, reduced travel time between Banihal and Kazigund from 45 minutes to 20, and now it's a toll-free passage, unlike Navyuk Tunnel offering convenience to the travelers.
From the integration of modern safety features to ensuring the protection of Jawans and civilians, the Jawahar Tunnel stands as a strategic advantage for the forces. Republic now takes you inside the control panel of the tunnel.
I'm showing you the system where this new technology has come up. The technology that will control the equipments, the airbags, the jet bags, even the telecommunications, the sockets, some outgoings, spares, welding sockets, high mast, and then all other technology that is there, which has been implemented and has been implemented in this tunnel. Will everything get controlled from here?
Top officials say that this project is an all-weather game changer.
Everyone is allowed to use this tunnel. Let me clear it that if some vehicle is moving from Srinagar to Jammu, Leh to Jammu, he has to cross through Navyuk Tunnel, where there is a provision of toll tax. Whereas if someone wants to cross this Jawahar Tunnel, then for travelling from Kazigund to Banihal, there is no need to pay any toll tax. I mean, the tunnel entry and exit is free of any toll.
A mark of development, a mark of Naya Kashmir. The Jawahar Tunnel provides a path to a safer and more connected Jammu and Kashmir.
Getting us some more updates coming in right now. As we keep tracking our updates, Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit the Delhi Police headquarters for an important meeting with senior police officers, including Delhi Police Commissioner. The meeting is expected to address several pressing issues related to law and order in the capital, including the rising incidents of shootouts and the growing menace of extortion calls run by gangsters. Sources suggest that Shah will review the current security situation and discuss strategies to curb these criminal activities. New guidelines are to be issued in similar lines as well. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh met US Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin on November 21st on the sidelines of the 11th ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting. Plus, in Laos, now the leaders reviewed progress in the India-US Defense Partnership achievements under the Defence Industrial Cooperation Roadmap, including joint co-production of jet engines and munitions. They also talked about efforts to strengthen military interoperability and support a free and open Indo-Pacific. Singh has also put forth key Quad initiatives, including disaster response and logistics networks. Both sides committed to fostering defense innovation and sustaining momentum in bilateral cooperation. The Delhi Police's Anti-Narcotics Task Force has dismantled an international drug cartel, arresting 2 key members, including Nigerian national, and seizing MDMA and 6,790 ecstasy tablets worth 4 crore rupees. The crackdown uncovered drugs smuggled via courier services with links to supplies in Himachal and Goa. Arrested were Santan Goswami from Ghaziabad, found with 33 grams of MDMA. The cartel supplier with 47 grams of MDMA and over 3 kilograms of ecstasy tablets at his residence. The operation saw joint efforts to combat drug trafficking across Delhi NCR and beyond.
तकरीबन 7,000 उसमें गोलियां जो तकरीबन 3-3.25 किलो बनती हैं, 7,000 गोलियां MDMA की मिली हैं, 6,790 टू बी एग्जैक्ट, और वो रिफाइंड क्वालिटी की MDMA जिसको हम एक्सटेसी ड्रग भी बोलते हैं, जो खुशी के लिए ली जाती है, जो अपने आप को हाई करने के लिए ली जाती है। तो एक्सटेसी ड्रग बरामद हुई जिसकी मार्केट वैल्यू 4 करोड़ रुपया है।
Viewers, getting you much more on live this morning. After escalation between Russia and Ukraine, Vladimir Putin issues stern warning to the West. Stay tuned.
With pollsters suggesting an edge for the Mahayuti, MVA jittery ahead of results. Sources say MVA now mulling to get in touch with independent candidates. Kenyan president orders cancellation of 30-year $736 million energy deal with Adani Group. President says that they were provided new information by partner nations regarding the Adani Group. After Russians' ICBM missile intercontinental ballistic missile strikes against Dnipro in east-central Ukraine, Putin releases statement says the US made a mistake by violating the agreement on elimination of long-range missiles.
आज विश्व के सामने आगे बढ़ने का सबसे मजबूत मंत्र है डेमोक्रेसी फर्स्ट, ह्यूमैनिटी फर्स्ट।
Days after Guyana confers Prime Minister Modi with its top honor, Prime Minister Modi addresses Guyana Parliament, gives the mantra of democracy first, humanity first. International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against Netanyahu over war crimes. Israel rejects ICC's war crime allegations. A very good morning. Thank you for tuning in to this edition. We begin first up with a statement that's coming in from the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who says that Russia has tested a new intermediate range missile in a strike on Ukraine on Thursday and even warned that Moscow could use it against countries that have allowed Kiev to use their missiles to strike Russia. Putin said in a nationwide TV address that Russian strike on Ukraine on Thursday came in response to Ukrainian strikes on the Russian territory with US and UK missiles earlier this week. The Russian leader even declared that Russia would issue advance warnings before strikes on other countries to allow civilians to evacuate safely, further warning that US air defense systems wouldn't be capable of intercepting Russian missiles. So a stern warning that's been issued by Russian President Vladimir Putin to the NATO countries against supplying arms to Ukraine. Let's listen in to some excerpts from Putin's address to the nation last evening.
В ответ на применение американского и британского дальнобойного оружия 21 ноября текущего года российские вооруженные силы нанесли комбинированный удар по одному из объектов оборонно-промышленного комплекса Украины. Разработка ракет средней и меньшей дальности осуществляется нами в качестве ответной меры на планы США по производству и развертыванию ракет средней и меньшей дальности в Европе и Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе. Полагаем, что США совершили ошибку, разрушив в одностороннем порядке в 2019 году под надуманным предлогом договор о ликвидации ракет средней и меньшей дальности.
So there you heard the statements coming in from Vladimir Putin saying, rather confirming that Russia has tested a new intermediate range missile in a strike on Ukraine's city, Dnipro, further warning that Russia could use it against countries that have allowed Kiev to use their missiles to strike Russia. This address by Putin comes a day after Russia released its updated nuclear doctrine, warning NATO that Russia will not hesitate in using nuclear weapons against countries who are aiding Ukraine in its attacks on Russia. And let's also tell you about that doctrine that's been released by Russia, in which Putin has said that, as we told you, Russia will not hesitate in using nuclear weapons. But for now, let's also tell you about the crisis in the Middle East, the conflict in the Middle East, rather, after Israel banned the main UN agency providing aid to Palestinians. People in Gaza remain at risk of dying from famines. Israel's failure to obey American law leaves it vulnerable to severe consequences. We get you the details in this next report.
As Israel-Hamas war shows no sign of a ceasefire, and Israel bans the main UN agency providing aid to Palestinians, Gaza remains at an imminent risk of dying from famine. Arguments erupted in Senate over blocking of sales of offensive weapons to Israel.
Madam President, I would also point out that poll after poll shows that a strong majority of the American people oppose sending more weapons and military aid to fund Netanyahu's war machine. And I would also mention, interestingly enough, that according to a poll commissioned by J Street, this is a pro-Israel organization.
They were soon rejected by other senators.
Yes, we can, but now's not the time to send this signal. This signal will be seen by the enemies of Israel and the enemies of peace as if they just stick with it, they will win.
This comes after a 30-day deadline from the Biden administration to Netanyahu's cabinet over the mistreatment of Palestinians in Gaza. The Biden administration has intensified its warnings and appeals to Benjamin Netanyahu. They have urged Israel to do more to protect civilians from airstrikes and other attacks, as well as to allow more aid to reach Gaza.
A partnership should be a two-way street, not a one-way blank check. And at a minimum, the Netanyahu government should comply with American law, as we've talked about today. And when they're not, we have an obligation to the American people and American taxpayers to make sure that we withhold that support until Netanyahu comes into compliance.
Israel's failure to increase its humanitarian efforts in Gaza leaves it vulnerable to severe consequences.
And in more breaking news updates coming in, the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, has issued arrest warrant against Netanyahu over what it says war crimes by Israel. So an arrest warrant that's been issued against Netanyahu, but a statement now coming in from the Israeli Prime Minister, who brands it as a modern Dreyfus trial, saying that this is an anti-Semitic move and condemning that arrest warrant that's been issued by the International Criminal Court against him. This after the International Criminal Court said that it found reasonable grounds to believe that Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant internationally targeted civilians and limited medical supplies, leading to worsening of humanitarian crisis in conflict zone Gaza. So Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been accused of war crimes, crimes against humanity in the Gaza conflict zone. Statement also coming in from the US that has bagged Netanyahu and has outrightly rejected that criminal warrant, arrest warrant that's been issued against the Israeli Prime Minister. Listen in to those statements coming in from Netanyahu.
The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial, and it will end the same way. 130 years ago, the French Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus was falsely accused of treason by a biased French court. In response to these false accusations, the great French writer Émile Zola wrote his monumental essay, J'accuse. He accused the French court of anti-Semitic lies against an innocent officer who was later exonerated of all guilt. Now an international court in The Hague, also headed by a French judge, is repeating this outrageous offense. It is falsely accusing me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians. This when we do everything in our power to avoid civilian casualties. We issue millions of text messages, phone calls, leaflets to the citizens of Gaza to get them out of harm's way, while the Hamas terrorists do everything in their power to keep them in harm's way, including shooting them, using them as human shields. The court in The Hague accuses us of a deliberate policy of starvation. This when we've supplied Gaza with 700,000 tons of food to feed the people of Gaza. That's 3,200 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. And these supplies are routinely looted by Hamas terrorists who deprive their people of much-needed food. Yet just in the last few weeks, Israel facilitated the vaccination of 97% of the people of Gaza against polio. This doesn't prevent the court of accusing us of genocide. What in God's name are they talking about in The Hague?
And just a quick recap of what the International Criminal Court has said. It has essentially issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, his former defense minister as well, and Hamas officials. This as the ICC maintains that there have been war crimes committed on part of Israeli government. Take a look at this detailed report.
After the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. Denouncing the move, Israel was quick to reject the warrant in a statement issued by Netanyahu's office. Meanwhile, Jordan's foreign minister Ayman Safadi, on the other hand, asserted that the move to issue the warrants must be respected and implemented.
قرارات المحكمة الجنائية الدولية يجب أن تحترم ويجب أن تنفذ. هذه مؤسسة دولية ثمة التزام باحترام قراراتها من كل الدول الأعضاء فيها، والدول الأعضاء في المحكمة هم 124 دولة، وبالتالي كل هذه الدول ملزمة باحترام هذا القرار. الشعب الفلسطيني يستحق العدالة. المؤسسات القانونية وجدت لتحاسب ولتلبي متطلبات العدالة، وبالتالي لابد من التعامل مع هذا القرار باحترام.
EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell too continued in the chorus.
As I said before, the tragedy in Gaza has to stop. And now I will be very sober in my comment. It is not a political decision. It is a decision of a court of justice, of the International Court of Justice. And the decision of the court has to be respected and implemented. So I take note of the decision of the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants from Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense, Mr. Gallant, and the Hamas leaders, Dave.
The International Criminal Court is accusing Netanyahu and Gallant and the Hamas officials of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the war in Gaza.
Now, after Benjamin Netanyahu, it's the US Pentagon that has denounced a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court against the Israeli Prime Minister. So, US rallying behind Netanyahu after the ICC, the International Criminal Court, accused Netanyahu of committing war crimes in Gaza. Listen in to that statement that's coming in from the Pentagon official who's expressed concerns over the escalation in the conflict in the Middle East, further rallying behind Netanyahu after that warrant was issued against the Israeli Prime Minister.
I can confirm that Russia did launch an experimental intermediate-range ballistic missile. This IRBM was based on Russia's RS-26 Rubezh intercontinental ballistic missile model. In terms of notifications to the United States was pre-notified briefly before the launch through nuclear risk reduction channels. I can confirm that Russia did launch.
So that is a statement coming in from the US expressing concerns over the arrest warrant that's been issued by the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court of Justice. In fact, Israeli Prime Minister has also rejected the warrant, terming it as an anti-Semitic move by the International Criminal Court. In other news that we are tracking, tragedy that has struck Georgia as a young nursing student's morning run ended in horror. A Venezuelan man has now been found guilty of a murder, a case that sparked national outrage and reignited debates over immigration in the US. What led to this shocking crime and how did justice unfold? Take a look at this report to find out the details.
A Venezuelan man, Jose Ibarra, has been found guilty of the brutal murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. A court in Georgia delivered a judgment after Ibarra waived his right to a jury trial.
There's very little, including the sentence of Mr. Ibarra, that's going to help much, and I acknowledge that. With that, Mr. Ibarra, if you will please stand. Count 1, malice murder. I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. I will now announce the verdict. In the state of Georgia versus Jose Antonio Ibarra, case SU 24CR0323, count 1, malice murder. I find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. I find the defendant guilty. Count 3, felony murder. I find the defendant guilty. Count 4, felony murder. I find the defendant guilty.
Prosecutors have revealed it. Ibarra attacked Riley during her morning run on the University of Georgia campus. Data from Riley's smartwatch has shown a fierce struggle, confirming her fight for life before her tragic death. Prosecutors say Ibarra killed Riley by bashing her skull with a rock, leaving her body in a wooded area. Prosecutors say Ibarra killed Riley by bashing her skull with a rock, leaving her body in a wooded area. Ibarra was arrested the day after Riley's body was discovered, with DNA evidence linking to him to the crime. The trial has heard that Ibarra entered the US illegally in 2022. It has been revealed that Jose Ibarra was arrested in New York City for criminal activities, adding to the concerns surrounding his immigration status. Riley's family and friends have wept in court as Ibarra was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Laken was an amazing friend, sister, niece, daughter, and granddaughter. Anyone who knew her knew about her loving heart. Laken's life was not the only life taken on that day that Jose Ibarra attacked her. The life of her family and friends was taken too. None of us will ever be the same. This monster took away our chances to see Laken graduate from nursing school. He took away our ability to meet our future son-in-law. He destroyed our chances of meeting our grandchildren. And he took my best friend.
The case has intensified debates over immigration policy. President-elect Donald Trump has reacted to the verdict, urging stronger border security measures. Prosecutors have underlined the danger posed by Ibarra, who was released despite a criminal record in New York. As Riley's family seeks closure, the nation grapples with the tragedy that has touched hearts across America.
And Tahawwur Rana, accused in Mumbai attack, the 26/11 attack, has now moved US top court, having lost his legal battle in all lower courts in the US. Mumbai attack accused Tahawwur Rana, who's a Canadian national of Pak origin, has now moved the US top court against his extradition to India. Note, this comes after India has sought Rana's extradition for his involvement in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack. He even reached out to the US Court of Appeals for the North Circuit in San Francisco after losing his legal battle in lower courts and several federal courts in the US. So this is his last legal chance not to be extradited to India after having lost his legal battle in all lower courts. Tahawwur Rana, in his last legal recourse, having moved the US top court, seeking that extradition to India not be carried out. In his petitions for a writ to review the judgment of the US Court of Appeals. Rana has made the same argument that he was tried and acquitted in federal court in North District of Illinois on charges related to the 2008 terror attack on Mumbai. For now, we head into a very short break, but through the day, we will get you the latest from the national capital. The AQI plummets further, remains the air quality index that remains in severe category.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Seen some serious developments with Russia changing its nuclear doctrine. Are we looking at the possibility of a nuclear war in Europe?
Да, такая возможность есть. Вполне вероятна ядерная война в Европе, но она Европой не ограничится. Дело в том, что если это действительно так, хотя мы сейчас точно не знаем, но Соединенные Штаты приняли решение разрешить Украине бить американскими ракетами вглубь России.
largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
This morning, I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. And as we wait for the Maharashtra polls results this Saturday, already viewers, we're seeing cracks within the MVA over the Chief Minister's post, the Chief Ministerial face of the MVA. We'll get you everything that you need to know and all the latest coming in. But as usual, the headlines we are tracking. Let's get started. With pollsters suggesting an edge for Mahayuti, MVA seems to be nervous. Sources say MVA now mulling to get in touch with independent candidates. Kenyan president orders cancellation of 30-year, $636 million energy deal with Adani Group. The president says that they were provided new information by partner nations regarding Adani Group. After Russia's ICBM missile strikes against Dnipro in east central Ukraine, Putin releases a statement says the US made a mistake by violating the agreement on the elimination of a long-range missile.
आज विश्व के सामने आगे बढ़ने का सबसे मजबूत मंत्र है डेमोक्रेसी फर्स्ट, ह्यूमैनिटी फर्स्ट.
Days after Guyana confers Prime Minister Modi with its top honor, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Guyana. Parliament gives the mantra of democracy first, humanity first. International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against Netanyahu over war crime. Israel rejects ICC's war crime allegations. Like we told you, we keep our focus on Maharashtra. A day after the conclusion of Maharashtra Assembly polls, a scuffle has emerged between Maharashtra Congress Chief Nana Patole and Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut over the chief ministerial face of state. This comes despite both the parties having expressed optimism about forming the next government. Listen in to this report as we highlight the big updates coming in from Maharashtra.
With the conclusion of assembly polls in Maharashtra, fresh drama seems to be brewing for the Mahavikas Aghadi. The state's Congress chief Nana Patole and Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut got into a war of words over the chief ministerial face of the party. While this raises questions over a drift within the party, the two leaders expressed confidence that MVA will take power in the state. The discord began after Patole's assertion over Congress's leadership in government was faced by opposition from Raut. Previously, the parties have also experienced divisions over seat allocation. Although an agreement was eventually reached over extensive discussions, the question of who would lead the government remained unresolved.
Alright viewers, getting you some big breaking updates coming in because we're coming to know that due to the continued inability conveyed by security agencies to provide minimum security against heightened threats, Consulate has had to cancel some more consular camps. Now, India has been forced to stop consular services. That's what we're learning of right now. Most of them were not in any places of worship, including one at a police facility. Consulate is fully sensitive to the difficulties faced by close to 4,000 elderly members of the diaspora in the Greater Toronto area, both Indian and Canadian nationals who have been deprived of an essential consular service. Consulate cancels camps. Canada refuses to provide security. India forced to stop consular services. This is what we're learning of right now on Republic TV. And Canada is absolutely refusing security even in the police premises. Big update coming in on Republic TV. And this, of course, is coming in the backdrop of the escalation between India and Canada that we've been watching for a while now. There has been a diplomatic row which has erupted and it has exploded in the past few weeks now. Due to the continued inability conveyed by security agencies to provide minimum security against heightened threats, Consulate has had to cancel some more consular camps. And we move ahead right now. Gautam Adani, chairman of Adani Group, has been indicted for bribery and fraud by a US federal court. The Adani Group has dismissed the charges leveled by the US prosecutors as baseless. Meanwhile, politics has started in India over the row. Watch this report for more.
The US Department of Justice has indicted Gautam Adani, the founder of Adani Group, his nephew Sagar Adani, and other senior Adani Green officials. Adani Group has been accused of allegedly offering bribes of $265 million to Indian state government officials to get them to sign solar power contracts, while raising money for the same projects in the US by promising that the company abided by anti-bribery laws. Reacting to the development, the Adani Group came out with a statement categorically denying all allegations and maintaining that it has upheld all regulatory compliance across jurisdictions in accordance to the law. Back in India, after the indictment, opposition parties led by Rahul Gandhi attacked and demanded Adani's arrest.
जहाँ भी करप्शन है वहाँ पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए, मगर इन्वेस्टिगेशन अदानी जी से शुरू होगी और जब तक अदानी जी अरेस्ट नहीं होंगे तब तक क्रेडिबल बात नहीं बनेगी। तो शुरुआत वहाँ से है, अदानी जी को अरेस्ट कीजिए, उनका इंटेरोगेशन कीजिए और फिर जो भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व है पकड़िए।
BJP in its sharp retort hit back at Rahul over his allegations. BJP claimed that Congress is trying to tarnish the image of government at the international level.
हमें भी पता है आपके स्ट्रक्चर के विषय में, ये इल्हान ओमर और ये जॉर्ज सोरोस, ये जो आपका स्ट्रक्चर है ना, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्ट्रक्चर, इस स्ट्रक्चर के विषय में हमें भी पता है और आपके स्ट्रक्चर का नियत क्या है। आपकी जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्ट्रक्चर है वो भारतवर्ष के मार्केट के ऊपर आघात करना चाहती है, निरंतर आघात करती रहती है।
While speaking exclusively to the Republic, senior lawyer Mahesh Jethmalani slammed Rahul Gandhi for speaking the same language as George Soros. Listen in.
Please see the entire ecosystem. What is Soros's main theory? Open society. He wants borderless countries, right? Who are the people in this country who are opposing CAA? Who are the people in this country who every time approach the Supreme Court for settlement of Rohingya refugees in India? It's the same thing in America. And the ideological counterparts, it's the less liberal lobby headed by the Congress party.
But the bigger question remains, does the timing of the latest episode raise questions about the Adani indictment? And in a hurry to target Adani, is the opposition playing into the hands of those who want to challenge the rise of Bharat? Is there more to this?
As Prime Minister Modi addressed a special session of the Guyanese parliament during his visit there. The Prime Minister shared his mantra of democracy first and humanity first. This will be the 14th such instance when PM Modi spoke on the behalf of the people of India in the parliaments of foreign nations. Take a look at this report as we highlight this big development coming in.
During his visit to Guyana, Prime Minister Modi addressed the country's parliament. The Prime Minister said India and Guyana's ties are made of soil, sweat and diligence.
साथियों, भारत और गयाना का नाता बहुत गहरा है। ये रिश्ता मिट्टी का है, पसीने का है, परिश्रम का है, दुख में, सुख में, कोई भी परिस्थिति हो, भारत और गयाना का रिश्ता आत्मीयता से भरा रहा है।
He also shared his mantra of democracy first and humanity first in the Guyanese parliament.
Democracy first, humanity first. डेमोक्रेसी फर्स्ट की भावना हमें सिखाती है कि सबको साथ लेकर चलो, सबको साथ लेकर सबके विकास में सहभागी बनो। ह्यूमैनिटी फर्स्ट की भावना हमारे निर्णयों की दिशा तय करती है।
Prime Minister Modi also took the opportunity to thank Guyana for conferring him with its top honor.
आप सबके बीच आने का सौभाग्य मिला, इसके लिए मैं आप सबका आभार व्यक्त करते हुए अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं। मैं आप सभी को भारत आने के लिए भी निमंत्रित करूंगा। मुझे गयाना के ज्यादा से ज्यादा जनप्रतिनिधियों का भारत में स्वागत करते हुए खुशी होगी। मैं एक बार फिर गयाना की संसद का, आप सभी जनप्रतिनिधियों का बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
PM Modi visited Guyana as part of his three-nation tour. He visited Brazil and Nigeria before coming to Guyana. The visit holds significance as this was the first time in 50 years that an Indian Prime Minister visited Guyana. This was also the 14th such instance when PM Modi addressed the parliament of a foreign nation. He also holds the distinction of being the first Indian Prime Minister with the highest number of addresses to foreign parliaments.
Getting you some big breaking news coming in right now, viewers. And remember, there will be a very important meet later on in the day today. This is amid the rising incidents. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be visiting the Delhi police headquarters to hold a very important meeting. This will happen at 11 a.m. for the important meeting with senior police officers, including Delhi Police Commissioner. The meeting is expected to address many issues which relate to law and order in the capital, including the rising incidents of shootouts and the growing menace of extortion calls run by gangsters. Sources suggest that Shah will review the current security situation and will also issue some guidelines to strengthen policing and improve coordination between various law enforcement agencies to ensure that safety of Delhi's residents. The recent surge in shootouts and criminal extortion activities have raised concerns about citizens and law enforcement alike. The Home Minister's visit comes at a crucial time as the government aims to take decisive steps to tackle these challenges effectively. Okay, let's go ahead to my colleague joining us, Piyush Ohri, joining us live, who's covering the story very closely and will be getting us updates entire day. All right, Piyush, if you could take our viewers through, what we can expect. 11 a.m. is the time when the meeting will begin. And like we told our viewers that there are a couple of incidents which are on the rise, especially run by gangsters, criminal activities, and other such situations. And this meeting will address those issues. Piyush.
So yes, good morning Shivangi, and good morning to all our viewers who are viewing us at the moment, and it is going to be an important day today where the Union Home Minister Amit Shah is going to be meeting the Delhi police top officials, which is going to be led by its Police Commissioner Sanjay Arora. Now this meeting is significant, taking into consideration that the Union Home Minister is going to be having a discussion on wide range of issues, primarily being the people who are involved in organized crime activities, and also along with it those anti-national elements that are operating in and out of Delhi. Now also it is important to note that how there have been 2 light intensity explosions that have occurred in national capital this year. So yes, taking cognizance of this and what is the investigation and how such kind of incidents can be avoided in the future, there is a possibility that the Union Home Minister is going to be having a word with top officials about it. Also, we know that how the Union Home Minister in the past and even now is emphasizing that the drug peddling, the drug smuggling, all these aspects also need to be curtailed. And we have witnessed that how the Delhi police in the last few months have made a major breakthrough in trying to get hold of the drug mafias, the drug nexus that has the international link to it. So yes, all these aspects are going to be discussed by the Union Home Minister, taking into consideration that the law and order situation in Delhi is often one issue which is being widely discussed in political fields, and some recent incidents in the past few months or days have also resulted in a political slugfest where we have witnessed that the Aam Aadmi Party, which does not control the Delhi police, has made an issue of law and order challenge in national capital, and have mentioned that how the inability of the
central government, in which the Delhi government, Delhi police comes in, some issues which have come in the Delhi state in the recent days have resulted in Aam Aadmi Party also making criticism on the union government and also the Lieutenant Governor. So yes, the law and order is one major challenge, and the Union Home Minister today would be trying to address that challenge while he would be having a word with the top senior officials of the Delhi police. Back to the studio.
Yes, Piyush, I will come back to you because we're getting some breaking updates. We will go to the breaking coming in right now. Let's go to that breaking. YSRCP debunks US indictment against Adani. No money paid. No role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. All right, so this is what we're learning of right now. US had indicted Adani, and YSRCP is debunking US indictment, saying that no money has been paid. So this is the update that we're getting for you right now on Republic TV. And remember, this is coming in the backdrop of the allegations which have been put up. The US Department of Justice had issued indictment of Gautam Adani, chairman of the Adani Group, and many of the business associates. After that, we're coming to know that some reactions are coming in on the story, where now we are learning that YSRCP has debunked US indictment against Adani. No money has been paid, no role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. So we try to also put out that reaction a short while from now. But this is a big update coming in. We'll try to connect to an area. In a short while from now to help us understand what exactly is happening. But as we see that there's a new controversy which has erupted, YSRCP has debunked the US indictment against Adani, and in that reaction that we're learning of, they have said that no money was paid, no role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. I just want to go straight to my colleague joining us, Aneri. If you could take our viewers through what the YSRCP has said, and they've issued a statement. Please read out that statement for our viewers.
Well, that's right, Shivangi. Amid this Adani roar which has been going on, well, now what we are seeing is that the YSRCP, which was in the ruling just 5 months back in the previous tenure, now we see that there were deals which took place during Jagan Mohan Reddy's term. But now what we are seeing is that YSRCP has issued a statement where they have been saying that the allegations made on the state government in the light of the indecent are incorrect, and also the power sale agreement was signed on December 1st, 2021 between SECI and AP Discoms. This was a part of the CERC approval as well, and this is very necessary to mention that the CERC is the Government of India enterprise, and there is no direct agreement between AP Discoms and any other entity, including those belonging to Adani Group. So very clearly YSRCP denying these allegations. They are saying that it is incorrect, and also at the same time they say that the deal which was done in 2021 was not with Adani Group or anyone. It was between the SECI, which is a Government of India enterprise, and that is the reason why they say basically they are giving a clean sheet to themselves, because we have been seeing that how Jagan Mohan Reddy and YSRCP, which was in the ruling, has come to light amid this Adani road, and now they are saying that what they had done and the allegations made on them are not correct, and they had not signed any sort of deal with the Adani Group, whereas it was in Government of India enterprise with which they had signed a deal.
All right. Okay, fine. Thank you for joining us there with all those details, where we see the YSRCP has debunked US indictment saying no money was paid, and this is coming in as YSRCP has issued an entire statement. And viewers, let's go ahead to some of the other stories. We're tracking Manipur assemblies. 10 Kuki MLAs, including 7 of the state's ruling BJP-led alliance, have demanded the AFSPA be extended to the entire state to recover looted arms. They also said that the central and the state governments must take steps to restore peace and normalcy by initiating political dialogue. Watch this report for more.
As Manipur remains on the edge, Kuki MLAs in the state have demanded the extension of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. 10 Kuki MLAs, including 7 of the state's ruling BJP-led alliance, have demanded the AFSPA be extended to the entire state. They say they wish to recover over 6,000 sophisticated weapons looted by Meiteis since May 3rd of last year. On November 14th, the centre had reimposed the AFSPA in Manipur's 6 police station areas, including the violence-hit Jiribam. The 10 Kuki MLAs seek to reimpose the AFSPA in the remaining 13 police jurisdictions. The Kuki legislators, including 5 of the BJP and 2 of the JDU, said that the central and state governments must take steps to restore peace and normalcy by initiating the political dialogue. Amid an escalation in violence in Manipur, 8 companies of the Central Armed Police Force have reached the state's capital, Imphal, on Thursday. They were deployed in sensitive and fringe areas.
A big developments coming out of Telangana today. The state's caste census has reached a major milestone, with the surveys now covering over 90 lakh households. Some districts are already hitting impressive targets, but there's a lot more to the story. What does this data mean for future policies, and how is the public reacting? Here's a full report.
Amid the simmering political showdown over caste census, Rahul Gandhi has claimed that Telangana has completed 70% of the caste census. He has further questioned the centre's reluctance to address caste-based representation in various sectors. The Congress has lauded the move and called it a significant development towards what it claims as equality and justice.
See, basically BJP and TRS are not in favor of caste census. आम जनता गरीब आदमी का फायदा होना उनको पसंद नहीं है. तो जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ रेवंत रेड्डी जो डिसीजन हम लिए ही है, कैबिनेट में डिसीजन करे, असेंबली में डिबेट हुआ, उसके बाद बिल बना, उनके अनुसार आज सर्वे हो रहा है. ऑलमोस्ट 70 to 75% कास्ट सेंसस हो गया और ये फ्री एंड फेयर सेंसस हो रहा है. तो इनको कहीं ना कहीं डिस्टर्ब करना है बीजेपी वालों को.
BJP leaders, however, have criticized the Telangana government's caste census. Senior BJP leader N. Ramchandra Rao called the state survey an eyewash, claiming it lacks transparency and credibility.
The caste census which the Congress party is undertaking is a farce. BJP is not against the caste census, but BJP is against the caste census being misused for the political purposes and for other purposes, because this is data, and this data can be misused by the Congress party. And for that, I would like to ask the Congress party that you have introduced many schemes in Telangana state. How many people are getting benefit of those schemes?
He stated that the survey is politically motivated and meant to mislead the public rather than provide actionable data. The Congress party has also promised caste surveys in Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
And viewers, let's move ahead right now to some of the other stories we're tracking. We'll take you inside the Jawahar tunnel, a crucial lifeline in Jammu and Kashmir, now undergoing a high-tech transformation with cutting-edge safety systems and advanced monitoring. This modern marvel is strengthening connectivity and security in the region. Stay with us for an exclusive look at the Jawahar Tunnel project.
Nestled within the rugged terrain of the Peer Panjal range, the Jawahar Tunnel has long been a vital lifeline for both defense and civilian transportation. Now a modern marvel, the renovation of this project has been undertaken by the Border Roads Organization. Republic takes you to this historic tunnel that hosts high-tech systems and equipment.
You have the telecommunication, then you have the fire brigade, firefighting system, And also, as far as the seepage issue that has been resolved and the pavement surface repaired after years of wear, enhanced durability and vehicle-friendly infrastructure, reduced travel time between Banihal and Kazigund from 45 minutes to 20, and now it's a toll-free passage, unlike Navyug Tunnel, offering convenience to the travelers.
From the integration of modern safety features to ensuring the protection of jawans and civilians, the Jawahar Tunnel stands as a strategic advantage for the forces. Republic now takes you inside the control panel of the tunnel.
I'm showing you the system where this new technology has come up. The technology that will control the equipments, the airbags, the jet bags, even the telecommunications, the sockets, some outgoings, spares, welding sockets, high mast, and then all other technology that is there, which has been implemented and has been implemented in this tunnel. Will everything get controlled from here?
Top officials say that this project is an all-weather game changer.
Everyone is allowed to use this tunnel. Let me clear it that if some vehicle is moving from Srinagar to Jammu, Leh to Jammu, he has to cross through Navyug Tunnel, where there is a provision of toll tax. Whereas if someone wants to cross this Jawahar Tunnel, then for travelling from Kazigund to Banihal, there is no need to pay any toll tax. I mean, the tunnel entry and exit is free of any toll.
A mark of development, a mark of Naya Kashmir. The Jawahar Tunnel provides a path to a safer and more connected Jammu and Kashmir.
Alright viewers, getting these updates coming in right now with this. This is a raw video where in this video you see that the Iceland volcano, very famous Iceland volcano, has erupted for the 11th time in 3 years. The eruption in Iceland is expanding and is close to destroying the Blue Lagoon Park. So you can see how the lava is traveling across the landscape, and from what we are learning, it could be very close to destroying the Blue Lagoon Park.
Welcome friends to this week's edition of The Interview, in which we have a very special guest, Mr. Dmitry Kiselev. He is the chief of Russian public broadcaster Sputnik, and he's someone who's seen as part of the Moscow establishment. He has interviewed President Putin more than a couple of times, and he is himself a very popular public presenter himself on Russian television. Welcome, Mr. Kislev.
Thanks.
Is it the first time you are in India?
No, I've been here many times.
All right, and how's the experience this time?
This is a very special event for me, this BRICS conference. И это дает мне возможность, я продолжу по-русски, дает мне возможность высказать свои идеи по BRICS.
Right, and since we are having this conversation in the midst of a war in which Russia is involved, and it's been going on for a while, and in the last 24 hours we have seen some serious developments with Russia changing its nuclear doctrine, if you could allow me to begin with that. Are we looking at the possibility of a nuclear war in Europe?
Ну да, такая возможность есть, вполне вероятно, ядерная война в Европе, но она Европой не ограничится. Дело в том, что если это действительно так, хотя мы сейчас точно не знаем, но Соединенные Штаты приняли решение разрешить Украине бить американскими ракетами вглубь России. И к этому проекту подключаются Англия и Франция. Поэтому российская ядерная доктрина изменена таким образом, что если будет агрессия со стороны неядерного государства при поддержке ядерного, то оба будут считаться агрессорами, и это значит, что мы имеем право на ответный ядерный удар. Путин это несколько раз объяснял очень четко.
Yes, so just to be clear, what this means is these changes that have taken place over the last 24 hours, that not only that the war has intensified, we were talking about the war ending, but actually the war has intensified. Not only that, the war could become wider and it could spread beyond the present theater.
Да, это абсолютно верно. Путин сказал, что если это произойдет, вот эти удары вглубь России, то это изменит саму природу, саму суть идущей сейчас войны. Дело в том, что управлять этими ракетами вооруженные силы Украины сами не могут. То есть вся система целенаведения, разработки полетных программ, полетного плана, она может осуществляться только при помощи западных технологий, при помощи западной разведки западными офицерами. То есть это будут делать офицеры НАТО.
But this has been happening for the last 2 years. In fact, I was going through a very interesting comment by your former president Medvedev, where he said that we are actually looking at the possibility of Third World War, World War III. You think we have seen Korea, for example, already supporting North Korea, supporting Russian military operations in Ukraine. You think that there is possibility of more nations joining on the side of Russia and more nations joining on the side of Ukraine? It's actually possible?
Но это зависит от интерпретации. Многие считают, что Третья мировая война уже идет. Потому что эта война, идущая война, это война за новый мировой порядок. И, конечно, уже сейчас против России воюет коалиция из 50 государств.
Okay, so when that serious situation prevails, I'll come to a connected development, which is the election results in the United States and the change of government that's going to take place, already happening. Immediately after the results, we had President Trump, now President-elect Trump, also call President Putin. There was a phone call that happened between the two. Now, given the fact that Trump, during his campaign, has talked about peace, of ending the war, he is traditionally seen as not pro-NATO. Can you share something about what transpired in that call between President Trump and President Putin?
Нужно понять, что Трамп не друг России. Во время первого срока Трампа не было ни одного полноценного саммита между ними, за исключением встречи на 20-ке в Японии и короткой встрече в Хельсинки. И те маленькие договоренности, скажем, о совместной рабочей группе по предотвращению хакерства в интернете, а Трамп жаловался на русских хакеров, они тоже не были исполнены. Но, тем не менее, мы считаем, что Трамп – это шанс. Мы не знаем, он будет ли реализован, но это шанс для мира. Потому что нынешняя администрация в США никакого шанса не предоставляет. Но нужно понимать, что мирная договоренность с Трампом, она может быть лишь на условиях России. А условия России состоят в том, чтобы была равная безопасность для всех. И в этом смысле Россия представляет мировое большинство, потому что это будет глобально, речь идет о создании новой системы глобальной безопасности. И вот этот многополярный мир, о котором говорилось здесь, он возможен только при соблюдении ядерного баланса, который гарантирует Россия. То есть у России здесь особая роль.
This is almost, a throwback to the brinkmanship games that were played in the Cold War. Given the kind of destruction we have seen on both the sides, maybe more on Ukraine side, less on Russia side, what is the possibility that with the change of government in the United States, some movement forward would happen on finding a way to stop this war?
Америка должна понять, что победить Россию, нанести ей, как они говорят, стратегическое поражение на поле боя невозможно. И что война и самоуничтожение человечества американцам невыгодно. Потому что если Америка решит нанести глубокий ракетный удар, то Россия, как единственная страна в мире, обладает способностью в качестве ответного удара превратить Соединенные Штаты в радиоактивный пепел. То есть мир выгоден всем, и Соединенным Штатам, и России, и мировому большинству. И придется пойти на российскую...
Is there a suggestion that nuclear warhead could be used against the United States when you say it could be reduced to radioactive ash?
Смотрите, мы говорим, что это ответный удар. Если мы превратим Соединенные Штаты в радиоактивный пепел в качестве ответного удара, если Соединенные Штаты решат бить своими ракетами в глубину территории России. И это сказано в российской ядерной доктрине, что если при экзистенциальной угрозе России мы применяем ядерное оружие. Наш ядерный потенциал мощнее, чем у Соединенных Штатов, и у нас мощнее средства доставки. Например, у нас есть гиперзвуковое оружие. Да, но мы не ведем себя агрессивно, мы предлагаем остановиться. Сейчас эскалацию взвинчивают Соединенные Штаты.
Okay, so the West not only says that Russia is the aggressor, they also say that Russia is not alone. So there is an axis with Iran, there is an axis with China. North Korean soldiers are actually physically fighting the war on the side of Russia. So it's not that Russia is alone.
Да, естественно, что да, Россия не одна. На стороне России мировое большинство. И есть страны, которые являются союзниками, в том числе военными союзниками России. То есть у нас есть такая организация, как ОДКБ, организация Договор о коллективной безопасности. И плюс у нас есть, да, туда входит Армения, Казахстан, Беларусь, например. А есть и военное соглашение о союзничестве с Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой. И я не вижу в этом ничего удивительного, потому что фактически в войну против России втянут весь Североатлантический договор, там 30 стран, и еще есть примкнувшие к ним, кто присоединился к санкциям.
Right. So since we are already, talking about a possible nuclear Armageddon, there have been some peace efforts. There was a Turkey process, Istanbul process. Then we have had Prime Minister Narendra Modi, speaking to both the sides. There have been some other piecemeal efforts made where do the things go from here? Like, what is the ultimate military objective of Russia? It's been more than 2 years of war.
Да, военная цель – построить новый устойчивый мир. Любой мир – это результат войны. Мира в результате Второй мировой войны хватило до нашего поколения. И потом НАТО стало продвигаться в сторону российских границ и устроили государственный переворот в 2014 году на Украине. Это было агрессивное действие по отношению к России, поскольку это исторически российская территория. Там находится, например, древнейший монастырь Руси Киево-Печерская лавра. И вся Украина была в советское время создана на территории России в 20 веке.
Right. So good that you mentioned this because it's being also called a civilizational war in some ways. And Kiev is known as the mother city of Russia. And I believe your father worked in Kiev in the army, right?
Right.
And you have connections with Western Ukraine.
Right.
So why can't, if you speak the same language, why can't the two people talk to each other?
Ну, я понимаю, но бывает, ну, фактически это гражданская война, стимулированная Соединенными Штатами через государственный переворот в поддержку националистического нацистского режима в 2014 году. Они даже сказали, сколько денег потратили на этот государственный переворот – $5 миллиардов. И режим, нацистский режим, поддержанный Соединенными Штатами, стал преследовать русских по национальному признаку. В 2014 году направил целую армию с танками и самолетами на Восточную Украину, в Донбасс, для того, чтобы убивать русских.
So the Americans under the present administration at least have been very transparent about supporting Ukraine. Things might change with the change of government early next year. But my question is, again, you think that if an understanding is reached that Russia gets to keep the Donetsk and Luhansk republics, and then Russia can move on, and the world can move on, the war can end?
Но пока получается так, потому что наша цель – демилитаризация и денацификация Украины. Пока другой технологии нет. Потому что история показывает, что нацистские режимы сами не рассасываются. Они должны потерпеть военное поражение извне. Так было с Германией, так было с Японией. И так было с Италией.
See, the fact of the matter is that Ukraine has been an independent sovereign country for the last 3 decades. But my question is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is perhaps the only leader from Asia at least who has spoken to both the sides. He has spoken to President Putin a couple of times. He has spoken to President Zelensky a couple of times. He has met both the leaders in person. You think in whatever dialogue that has taken place trilaterally, some better understanding has been achieved which can contribute to the ending of this war?
Но я считаю, что президент Моди великий политик, и мы очень ценим миротворческие усилия Индии. Проблема не в Моди, а проблема в Зеленском, который не является легитимным президентом и не является стороной этого конфликта. Его срок президентский истек весной этого года, и новые выборы не были назначены. И нацистский режим на Украине, он привел страну к тому, что это уже failed state. И Америка превратила Украину в антироссию, как в инструмент своей агрессивной войны против России.
Let's take a couple of questions on Russia-India relationship. How is the old, very enduring partnership seen from Moscow these days, between Moscow and New Delhi?
Ну, они драгоценны для русских. Мы помогали становлению независимости Индии с большой симпатией. И сейчас наши отношения стремительно развиваются, и в том числе экономические отношения. Насколько я знаю, 40% нефти, своей нефти у Индии из России.
Right, and maybe the West does not like that. But President Putin is all set to come as part of the annual exchange that takes place at the top between the two sides.
He should be coming early next year. What are the expectations from Moscow out of that meeting that takes place next year between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin?
Ну, мне кажется, что у нас общие цели с БРИКС. Нам нужно развивать, так сказать, наши платежные системы международно. Нам нужно обмениваться технологиями, безусловно, более откровенно. Я считаю, что нужно, так сказать, ну, если хотите мое мнение, что цена на нефть должна быть более справедливой. Не должно быть такой большой скидки, потому что Россия исполняет свою функцию глобальной точки опоры для глобальной безопасности, то, о чем мы говорили, удерживая ядерный баланс. И Индия должна ценить вклад России в мировую стабильность.
Well, it will be interesting to see how it pans out, because oil might get cheaper with President Trump coming in and announcing that America would start selling oil. Thank you so much, Mr. Kessler, for this very interesting conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
The statement which is out, viewers, statement from Deputy Clerk of Privy Council and National Security and Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister has come out with a statement, and there's no proof of PM Modi and Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister's role in internal matters. And I want to go across to my colleague, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, joining us on the phone line. Abhishek, a very, very big statement coming in right now. And this is the backdrop of the diplomatic row that we have been seeing between India and Canada. And this statement definitely is showing what we have been saying for a while, that Canada has absolutely refused to give proof of the allegations that they have put. Abhishek, we go across to our colleague Abhishek Kapoor, Senior Executive Editor, but this is a big statement coming in right now where very, very clearly no proof of PM Modi and Jaishankar's role in internal matters. Now, remember, Canada has given said a lot of allegations, and this is on the Niger killing where Justin Trudeau's government has issued this clarification. Okay. The government of Canada has not stated nor is it aware of linking PM Modi to the serious criminal activity within Canada. This is a big statement coming in, given the fact the allegations Canada and Justin Trudeau has been putting on India. Abhishek.
Yes, Shivangi. So this is somebody at the junior level cleaning up the mess created by the top levels of the Canadian establishment and issuing this clarification after a very motivated leak that was carried by Globe and Mail newspaper in Toronto, which suggested that whatever happened in the Niger episode, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself was privy to it, which obviously it was not. And this is clearly one more episode in the ongoing diplomatic standoff and escalation that has been forced by the Canadians. Remember, this comes parallelly on a day when the Canadian establishment has refused security to Indian diplomatic staff within Canada Police or RCMP premises to carry out consular services for the Indian diaspora. So obviously, there is someone out there in Toronto, in Ottawa, who wants to completely wreck this relationship, even the people-to-people connection, and that's why all these things are happening. This clarification that has come obviously had to come because earlier we have seen how there was another motivated leak planted in a newspaper in United States suggesting that Union Home Minister Amit Shah was privy to all these developments connected with nuclear killing. And now, someone perhaps pushed the envelope and dragged Prime Minister Modi's name also. This is clearly an attempt at completely finishing off whatever little remains now in the India-Canada relationship, and that's why I think someone at the junior level perhaps thought that maybe some window has to be left open, and that's why this statement from the Privy Council office suggesting that, or clarifying that there is no question whatsoever of they having any information that either Prime Minister Modi or External Affairs Minister Jaishankar or National Security Advisor Ajit Pawar knew anything about what was happening insofar as Niger episode is concerned.
That is right. And we also have seen, Abhishek, that India and that's the MEA has again and again has said that the Canadian report claiming PM Modi was aware of the plot to kill Sikh separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a smear campaign, and this is what the MEA is saying. And now, finally, we are seeing the statement coming in from the Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council and the National Security and Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister. What do you think, Abhishek, has led to this kind of U-turn? Why is Canada making these kind of allegations, and now we see a statement which is completely opposite to what Canada was initially saying?
Well, we have to, be a little cautious, Shivangi, I believe, in terms of actually reading a U-turn in what has happened. Remember, Prime Minister Modi was in Rio de Janeiro just a few days back, and to participate in the G20 summit. Justin Trudeau was there, and not even a shake hand happened. There is a clip going viral which shows that Justin Trudeau, extends his hand, and the Prime Minister makes it clear that there is no question of having a truck with him, and looks the other way, obviously because a message has to be sent to the Canadians at large that their leader is hell-bent on ruining a very beautiful relationship otherwise. And the manner in which the Khalistani elements have been given safe haven and space to operate. The latest example of which was the physical violence they carried out against the Hindu community in Brampton. I'm sorry, is a clear example of how Justin Trudeau has gone about completely ruining this India-Canada relationship, and the message had to be sent. I think this escalation of dragging Prime Minister's name was certain crossing of Rubicon, and perhaps till the time at least that Justin Trudeau occupies office in Ottawa, it's unlikely that there would be any, walking backwards in the road downhill that the two nations have gone over the last few years, and particularly last 1.5 years. So it's still early to say whether this is a U-turn. Maybe some junior level officer, the deputy clerk or a deputy minister decided that maybe some window has to be left open for a salvage, and that's why this clarification coming.
Right, thank you, Abhishek, for joining us with all those details. After India slammed the Canada report on Niger murder plot and called it absolutely ludicrous, we are seeing that Canada has now issued a statement saying there's no link between the Niger murder plot and PM Modi or External Affairs Minister Jaishankar being involved in internal matters of Canada. That's a very big story we're tracking. We will take a very short break right now because we're getting back-to-back updates. Do not go anywhere, viewers. We will continue being live and breaking from now onwards.
Structural reforms are important, but very often these process reforms are ignored. More often than not, the changes are very simple to do, and I think we can do hundreds of them, and the benefits of doing them is something that will eventually get us to Viksit Bharat.
We are going to witness a massive kind of expansion in the economy and the markets, and even culturally. So this is just the beginning of a very huge uptrend for the country.
How one can really look at upskilling and really making them relevant for the type of jobs which are available. That's what's been given a lot of emphasis both by the industry, and I would also see the government really giving a major focus on upskilling and reskilling.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Character, the taste of success.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
शिंदे असतील, देवेंद्र फडणवीस असेल, मी असेल किंवा माझे सगळे सहकारी असतील, आपण ती योजना चांगल्या प्रकारे राबवू शकतो.
लेक लाडकी लखपती योजना देणार आहे पहिलं सरकार.
तुम्हाला माहिती आहे शिंदे साहेब बोलतात तर
एक तुफान आलंय महाराष्ट्रामध्ये, भगवं वादळ आलेलं आहे.
पहिल्यांदा मराठा आणि ब्राह्मण वाद सुरू केला आणि आता मराठा आणि ओबीसी वाद सुरू केला. आपण आणून कुठे बसवलं आहे ना जातीत.
पुण्यामध्ये ते वोट जिहाद करता है तो वोट जिहाद। अमरावती वालों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Trudeau government issues a statement on nature killing, says no role of Prime Minister Modi, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and NSA Dole in internal matters. After Adani US indictment, YSRCP debunks claims regarding solar panel deal with Adani, says no role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. With 24 hours to go for the Mahavir verdict, MVA holds back-to-back meetings. Sources suggest MVA in touch with independent candidates. Supreme Court to hear the demand of the Hindu side to transfer all Gyanvapi linked cases from the lower court to the higher court. India forced to stop consular services as Canada refuses to provide security even in police premises. 2611 plotter Tahawwur Rana's resorts to last legal recourse, moves top court, US top court against extradition to India. Putin issues fresh new warning to the NATO, warns UK and US against supplying arms to Ukraine.
The decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial. It is falsely accusing me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians.
Netanyahu terms arrest warning by International Criminal Court, anti-Semitic move. US rallies behind the Israeli Prime Minister. We begin first up with the latest that's coming in on the statement that's been issued by the YSRCP clarifying on the charges that have been made against the state government, debunking the US indictment against the Adani Group. The statement that's been issued by the YSRCP in which the party states that the allegations made on the state government in light of the indictment are incorrect, and that the power sale agreement that was signed on 1st of December 2021 between SECI and AP Discoms, this after the CESRC approval as well, adding that it is necessary to mention that SECI is a Government of India enterprise. There is no direct agreement between Andhra Pradesh Discoms and any other entities, including those belonging to the Adani Group. Let's go across to Aneri, who has more details. Aneri, once again, if you can take us through that statement that's been issued by the YSRCP-1, and also if you can tell us more about the solar panel deal which is being talked about.
Well, that's right, Samisha. What we have been seeing is that amid the Adani roar, which has been going on all across the country, and also at the same time, we see how Congress party and Rahul Gandhi has been hitting out. But also at the same time, well, now we talk about the Andhra Pradesh, state of Andhra Pradesh, where we see that there was a deal which took place on the 1st of December 2021. That means during Jagan Mohan Reddy's regime. But now YSRCP has come out with a statement saying that they have not signed any Adani Group. Basically, there was a deal which was signed with the Government of India enterprise, and there's no role of Adani Group in it. But now also at the same time, they also continue to state that the allegations which have been made against the YSRCP is incorrect, is what they have to say. But also, we have been seeing how there has been a massive war of words, because now YSRCP comes out with a statement saying that they do not have any role in it. They are the allegations made against them are incorrect, and also the deal which was signed was between the Government of India enterprise, where Adani Group was not a part of that, is what they have to say. But also at the same time, we have been seeing that there was a deal of the power solar which had taken place, and there were meetings as well which were taking place that time.
All right, Anili, we leave it at that. In fact, we have a statement also that's coming in from the US. A day after a US indictment against the Adani Group, the statement that's now coming in from the White House saying that the matter has now been referred to the US Security and Exchange Commission. And this while the White House press secretary responded to reporters' question, emphasizing on the strong ties between the US and India, reiterating that the matter should be directed to the SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission in US, for specifics. While avoiding detailed comments on the charges against Adani, she expressed confidence that the US-India relationship remains robust. So White House not directly taking those specifics that were put regarding the US indictment against the Adani Group. The White House press secretary who says that the matter, the question, beg your pardon, should be asked from the US Security and Exchange Commission. Listen into that statement.
Obviously, we're aware of these allegations, and I would have to refer you to the SEC and DOJ about the specifics of those allegations against the Adani Group. What I will say is, on the U.S. and India relationship, we believe that it's stands on an extremely strong foundation, anchored in ties between our people and cooperation across a full range of global issues, and so. What we believe and we're confident about is that we'll continue to navigate this issue as we have with other issues that may have come up, as you just stated. And so the specifics of this is something that SEC and DOJ can speak to directly. But again, we believe that this relationship between India and the U.S. has been built on a strong foundation.
And crackdown on terror continues across J&K. These are anti-terror operations which are being carried out in several locations across Kashmir. So a crackdown against terror associates in the valley. Multiple anti-terror operations which are said to be underway since early morning. So details coming in that at least 9 anti-terror operations are underway across Kashmir. It's a crackdown on terror associates. Let's try and see if Arawat is through, but these are the details that we are picking up. Sketchy details for now about the specifics of this anti-terror operation. But security grid that's been heightened at the border locations while crackdown continues on terror associates across Kashmir. So specific intel inputs that were received by the forces, after which anti-terror operations, at least 9, that are currently underway in Kashmir as we speak. Let's go across to Arawat. We will just go across to Arawat in a bit. But specific intel, like we told you, was received by the forces, by the J&K police and the central forces, after which a major crackdown is currently underway at several locations. Let's go across to Arawat, who has more details. Arawat, what do we know so far about these early morning anti-terror operations which are underway in Kashmir?
Yeah, absolutely, Samiksha. If we'll talk about the last couple of days, we have seen that the crackdown on the terrorist associates, and we have also seen that the active terrorists have also been arrested by the security forces during the joint operation. After that, we have seen that multiple anti-terror operations were underway from the North Kashmir, Central Kashmir, and the South Kashmir.
Rawat, I will have to cut you short, but the news break we are tracking this hour is the statement that's coming in from the Trudeau government, clearly on the back foot, saying that there is no role whatsoever of the Prime Minister, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and NSA Ajit Pawar in crime. This comes after Trudeau government has been alleging that Prime Minister Modi, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and NSA were indirectly involved in Niger's case, the Khalistani extremist leader. A statement that's now coming in from the Canadian government, the statement that's been made by the National Security and Intel Advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, reading out that detailed statement that's been put out, which says on 14th of October, because of a significant and ongoing threat to public safety, the RCMP and officials took the extraordinary step of making public accusations of serious criminal activity in Canada perpetrated by agents of the Government of India, adding that the Government of Canada has not stated nor is it aware of evidence linking Prime Minister Modi, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar or NSA Ajit Pawar to serious criminal activity within India. So that's the first admission that is coming in from the Trudeau government, that clearly there is no evidence to back the bogus claims that Trudeau has been making regarding role of the Indian government in Niger's killing. So amid the pressure that has also been mounting on Justin Trudeau regarding these bogus, baseless charges that the country has been making, it's the admission that's now coming from the Canadian government, saying that there is clearly no evidence to back the claims regarding Khalistani extremist leader Niger's killing. That statement that's coming from the Canadian government, statement that's been issued by the National Security and Intel Advisor to Justin Trudeau, who says that there is no Modi link to the crimes. Remember, all of this comes after there were several media reports, the Canadian media reports that did the rounds, alleging a role of Indian agents, quote unquote, in the case of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the Khalistani extremist leader who was shot dead in Surrey last year in the month of June. So clearly, Justin Trudeau, who is on the back foot in this case, having issued a statement admitting that there is clearly no link whatsoever of the Indian agents in Khalistani leaders' killing in Surrey last year. And let's now shift focus to the big story that we've been tracking from the US, the Adani stocks that nosedived after the US indictment against the Adani Group. Take a look at this report for more details.
The US Department of Justice has indicted Gautam Adani, the founder of Adani Group, his nephew Sagar Adani, and other senior Adani Green officials. Adani Group has been accused of allegedly offering bribes of $265 million to Indian state government officials to get them to sign solar power contracts, while raising money for the same projects in the US by promising that the company abided by anti-bribery laws. Reacting to the development, the Adani Group came out with a statement categorically denying all allegations and maintaining that it has upheld all regulatory compliance across jurisdictions in accordance to the law. Back in India, after the indictment, opposition parties led by Rahul Gandhi attacked and demanded Adani's arrest.
जहां भी करप्शन है वहां पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए, मगर इन्वेस्टिगेशन अदानी जी से शुरू होगी और जब तक अदानी जी अरेस्ट नहीं होंगे तब तक क्रेडिबल बात नहीं बनेगी। तो शुरुआत वहाँ से है, अदानी जी को अरेस्ट कीजिए, उनका इंटेरोगेशन कीजिए और फिर जो भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व है पकड़िए।
BJP, in its sharp retort, hit back at Rahul over his allegations. BJP claimed that Congress is trying to tarnish the image of government at the international level.
हमें भी पता है आपके स्ट्रक्चर के विषय में, ये इल्हान ओमर और ये जॉर्ज सोरोस, ये जो आपका स्ट्रक्चर है ना, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्ट्रक्चर, इस स्ट्रक्चर के विषय में हमें भी पता है और आपके स्ट्रक्चर का नियत क्या है। आपकी जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्ट्रक्चर है वो भारतवर्ष के मार्केट के ऊपर आघात करना चाहती है, निरंतर आघात करती रहती है।
While speaking exclusively to the Republic, senior lawyer Mahesh Jethmalani slammed Rahul Gandhi for speaking the same language as George Soros. Listen in.
Please see the entire ecosystem. What is Soros's main theory? Open society. He wants borderless countries, right? Who are the people in this country who are opposing CAA? Who are the people in this country who every time approach the Supreme Court for settlement of Rohingya refugees in India? It's the same thing in America. And the ideological counterparts, it's the less liberal lobby headed by the Congress party.
But the bigger question remains, does the timing of the latest episode raise questions about the Adani indictment? And in a hurry to target Adani, is the opposition playing into the hands of those who want to challenge the rise of Bharat? Is there more to this?
Now, with less than 24 hours to go for the Maharashtra verdict, getting in a lead from the state, we are now given to understand that the Maha Vikas Aghadi is in touch with independent candidates. This after the exit polls have projected that the Maha Yuti could get somewhere around 160 seats in the 288 assembly seats in the state. So looks like the Maha Vikas Aghadi is jittery. With just less than 24 hours to go for the polls, it has held late night meetings. It is reaching out to independent candidates as well. So remains to be seen whether the Maha Vikas Aghadi will be able to rope in the independents and will they be able to strike or reach the number that is required to form government in Maharashtra. So note this comes with the revolt in the Maha Vikas Aghadi that has been widening. Nana Patole, the Maharashtra Congress chief, who maintains that if the MVA forms government, it will be the Congress leading the MVA, which has not gone down too well with the Uddhav Thackeray faction. So the Maha Vikas Aghadi that is jittery ahead of the Maharashtra verdict, it is reaching out to independent candidates. Let's take a look at this report, which gives us a sense of what has happened in the state in the last 24 hours.
With the conclusion of assembly polls in Maharashtra, fresh drama seems to be brewing for the Maha Vikas Aghadi. The state's Congress chief Nana Patole and Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut got into a war of words over the chief ministerial face of the party. While this raises questions over a drift within the party, the two leaders expressed confidence that MVA will take power in the state. The discord began after Patole's assertion over Congress's leadership in government was faced by opposition from Raut. Previously, the parties have also experienced divisions over seat allocation. Although an agreement was eventually reached over extensive discussions, the question of who would lead the government remained unresolved.
All right, so those are the developments from late last night. The visuals on your screens of... all right, these are file visuals, beg your pardon, but just a quick recap from the state of Maharashtra. There have been back-to-back late-night meetings of the Maha Vikas Aghadi. And that meeting came just hours after the Congress said that MVA government will be formed under the Grand Old Party, something which has not gone down too well with the UBT faction. And as we speak, sources tell us that the MVA has reached out to independent candidates in the state. And shifting focus to international news that we are tracking, this one on the crisis, the conflict in the Middle East. Netanyahu, who's issued a statement after a criminal warrant was issued against him by the International Criminal Court of Justice. Netanyahu says that the arrest warrant, the move that has that has come in, is nothing but an anti-Semitic move by the International Criminal Court. We get you the details in this next report.
After the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Denouncing the move, Israel was quick to reject the warrant in a statement issued by Netanyahu's office. Meanwhile, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, on the other hand, asserted that the move to issue the warrants must be respected and implemented.
قرارات المحكمة الجنائية الدولية يجب أن تحترم ويجب أن تنفذ. هذه مؤسسة دولية ثمة التزام باحترام قراراتها من كل الدول الأعضاء فيها، والدول الأعضاء في المحكمة هم 124 دولة، وبالتالي كل هذه الدول ملزمة باحترام هذا القرار. الشعب الفلسطيني يستحق العدالة. المؤسسات القانونية وجدت لتحاسب ولتلبي متطلبات العدالة، وبالتالي لابد من التعامل مع هذا القرار باحترام.
EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell too continued in the chorus.
As I said before, the tragedy in Gaza has to stop. And now I will be very sober in my comment. It is not a political decision. It is a decision of a court of justice, of an international court of justice. And the decision of the courts has to be respected and implemented. So I take note of the decision of the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants from Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense, Mr. Gallant, and the Hamas leaders, Dave.
The International Criminal Court is accusing Netanyahu and Gallant and the Hamas officials of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the war in Gaza.
And let's put out newsbreak that's coming in from Jammu, where 34 illegal structures have been demolished by the officials. These are the details coming in from Jammu. We'll try and put out those visuals as well, where demolished structures being taken down can be seen. These are all illegal structures that have been razed to the ground by the officials. These structures were rented out illegally by Kashmiri Pandits. They've been demolished after 10 months of serving notice to illegal occupants. So these are properties that apparently belonged to the Kashmiri Pandits in this area, which have been demolished by the officials. An order that's been passed by Omar Abdullah government. The visuals that show the razed structures where the Kashmiri Pandits had been residing for last many years. 34 structures which the government says were illegal have been razed to the ground in Jammu. Let's go across to Gursimran, who is getting us more details. Gursimran, we understand that Kashmiri Pandits had been living in these properties for last many years, which have been razed to the ground by the officials.
Samiksha, what the Jammu and Kashmir government has said that this property was illegally in possession of the Kashmiri Pandit community. Reason being that they were accommodated, they were rehabilitated to the various camps in the Jagti area and the Purku area. And what they have done that was also illegal, that they have rented it further to those stakeholders that have no say when it comes to the allocation of this area. And they said the Jammu Development Authority has said that as part of the union government scheme to provide the 1 BHK accommodation to the economic weaker section in Jammu region, 208 flats were to be built in this very area. And for the same, they have demolished these 34 structures that were in place. What they went on to say that in January 2024, 20th of January it was, notice was served for the evacuation that they leave this place because this is being illegally occupied as they have been rehabilitated to the other areas. But despite that fact, they have rented it to the non-domicile holders and as well as to other people. That is totally against the allocation of the property to the migrants that comes under the government of Jammu and Kashmir. So this was in the violation of the norms not only of the Jammu Development Authority but also of the government of Jammu and Kashmir when it comes to the allocation of the properties to the migrants in Jammu and Kashmir to live in. And then what has happened that after 10 months of the notice being served to them, their shops and the structures have been demolished by the Jammu Development Authority, and now the JDA says that they will be building a total of 208 flats for which the process has already been initiated. So as per the Jammu and Kashmir government, this was against the basic structure of the accommodation being given to the migrant community by the government of Jammu and Kashmir, that they have to live themselves on that land, not to rent it out to someone else who has no say on that. And that is why this action has been taken, keeping in view the multiple notices that have been served to them over the last 10 months.
All right, Gursimran, thank you for getting us these details. For now, we head into a very short break. More news breaks lined up after we come back.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Viewers, top headlines we're tracking right now. Trudeau government issues a lot of new updates. Statement on Niger killing says role of PM Modi, Jai Shankar and NSA Doval in internal matters. After Adani US indictment, ICC debunks claims regarding solar panel deal with Adani, says no role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. Within 24 hours to go. Now for the Maharashtra verdict, the MVA holds back-to-back meetings. Sources suggest MVA in touch with independents. Supreme Court to hear the demand of the Hindu side to transfer all Gyanvapi linked cases from the lower court to the high court. India forced to stop consular services as Canada refuses to provide security even in police premises. 2611 plotter Tahawwur Rana's resort to last legal recourse moves US top court against extradition to India. Putin issues fresh nuke warning to NATO, warns UK and US against supplying arms to Ukraine.
Decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial. It is falsely accusing me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians.
Terms arrest warning by International Criminal Court, anti-Semitic move, US rallies behind Netanyahu. Alright viewers, let's go ahead to the big breaking update coming in. JP Nadda writes a letter to Kharge on Manipur. Nadda challenges Congress's narrative on Manipur. Nadda calls out Congress over past failures in Manipur. We're getting this big breaking update coming in. JP Nadda writing a letter to Kharge on Manipur. Nadda challenges Congress' narrative on Manipur. Now remember, this is coming in at the backdrop of the unrest and the very, very sensitive situation in Manipur. Now in a letter to Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda criticized Congress for its disrespectful walkout during PM Modi's address on the violence in Manipur earlier this year. Nadda expressed surprise at Kharge's letter to President, noting that the Congress leaders' repeated disrespect towards President Murmu. It was heartening to see some form of respect finally shown towards the office. He then countered Kharge's politically motivated narrative, pointing out that Congress's historical failure to handle similar crises, particularly in the 1990s, which still impacts Manipur today. Nadda highlighted the positive transformation of the Northeast under Modi's leadership. Okay, so this is the big update we're getting for you right now on Republic TV, where JP Nadda is targeting the Congress, the backdrop of the Manipur violence, which we have been seeing, and saying that the UPA had failed Manipur. It's a letter that JP Nadda has written to the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge. BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda criticized Congress for its disrespectful walkout during PM Modi's address on the violence in Manipur earlier this year. Let's go straight across to my colleague joining us, Riyanka, joining us live. Riyanka, you know, this is a very, very big development, and remember that the situation in Manipur is quite sensitive. We are tracking those stories as well, as Manipur remains on the edge. But take us through this entire letter which JP Nadda has written to Kharge and has called out Congress's past failures in Manipur.
Absolutely, a very big development, a very crucial one, with the situation in Manipur constantly at a boil. We have now seen BJP National President JP Nadda writing to the Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge over his letter to which he had written to President Draupadi Murmu on the violence in Manipur. Now, JP Nadda is in fact going ahead and expressing his shock in how there have been repeated attempts that were made by the Congress party to centralize the situation in Manipur. He also says that it appears that Congress has forgotten that not only did the government legitimize the illegal migration of foreign militants to India, in fact, he's taking the name of P. Chidambaram, who was the erstwhile Home Minister then. He, in fact, had signed treaties with them. Furthermore, there are known militant leaders fleeing the country to avoid arrest, was wholeheartedly endorsed and encouraged to carry on the destabilizing efforts. JP Nadda also says that this is complete failure of India's security and administrative protocols under the Congress government, when one of the major reasons why the militant and habitually violent organizations are attempting to destroy the hard-won peace in Manipur and push it back several decades into the age of anarchy. A huge, detailed letter, a very detailed letter now which has reached Mallikarjun Kharge via JP Nadda is clearly, with the BJP hitting out and expressing concern regarding the pattern of Congress leaders endorsing and encouraging a nexus of foreign forces looking to derail India's progress, which the BJP says is truly worrying. So here we can see JP Nadda once again hitting out at the Congress party, saying that the Congress's thirst for power or part of a carefully designed strategy to divide the people and sideline the democracy. And this is what the nation deserves to know.
Okay, I'll come back to you soon, Riyanka, because we're tracking the story coming in, coming in. But we have to move ahead because we have a very big global update for our viewers. Let's go to the new update coming in, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia has tested a new intermediate range missile and a strike on Ukraine on Thursday and warned that Moscow could use it against countries that have allowed Kiev to use their missiles to strike Russia. Putin says in a nationwide TV address that the Russian strike on Ukraine on Thursday comes in response to Ukrainian strikes on the Russian territory with US and British missiles earlier this week. The Russian leader declared that Russia would issue advance warnings before strikes on other countries to allow civilians to evacuate to safety. He warned that US air defense systems wouldn't be capable of intercepting Russian missiles. Okay, so this is a big update coming in right now on Republic TV, where we are learning that there has been escalation, remember, between Russia and Ukraine, and we have got you all those updates here on Republic TV. And we also are being joined by a guest right now. Let's go across to our guest who's joining us live. We're getting some more reactions. Let's go and play those reactions coming in first, and then we'll go to our guest.
Применение американского и британского дальнобойного оружия 21 ноября текущего года российские вооруженные силы нанесли комбинированный удар по одному из объектов оборонно-промышленного комплекса Украины. Разработка ракет средней и меньшей дальности осуществляется нами в качестве ответной меры на планы США по производству и развертыванию ракет средней и меньшей дальности в Европе и Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе. Полагаем, что США совершили ошибку, разрушив в одностороннем порядке в 2019 году под надуманным предлогом договор о ликвидации ракет средней и меньшей дальности. Разработка ракет...
Okay, we have to move ahead right now. I'm getting some more updates coming in right now, where a statement has come out from the Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council and National Security Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister. On October 14, because of a significant ongoing threat to public safety, the RCMP and officials took the extraordinary step of making public accusations of serious criminal activity in Canada perpetrated by agents of the Government of India. The Government of Canada has now stated that nor is it aware of evidence linking PM Modi, Minister Jaishankar or NSA Doval to the serious criminal activity within Canada. And we have a guest joining us, Daniel Boardman, senior journalist live from Toronto, Canada. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Boardman, from Toronto. And, one thing we have seen is that just one day back, the MEA had rubbished the reports which had gone ahead and linked PM Modi, Jaishankar and others to the Nijjar murder plot. And now we see that Canada has itself put out a statement saying that there has been no connection whatsoever between dignitaries like PM Modi and others to Canada's internal matters. Your first reaction?
Yeah, this is in response to a story put out in the Globe and Mail that had linked Modi, Jaishankar, and the other two, potentially the Nijjar case. And this is the Canadian government coming out and saying that it full out doesn't have this information. So there's a lot of different ways this can be interpreted, and we'll see more clearly. But you could say, okay, this is the Canadian government realizing that there's misinformation out of there, not wanting to escalate things and saying, no, we actually don't have any information on Modi and Jaishankar. It could be that. You could have the fact that maybe this was the most cynical interpretation is maybe they wanted to discredit the Globe and Mail, because the Globe and Mail is the outlet that reported on the foreign interference within the Liberal Party when it came to the CCP and the Chinese, which is the real foreign interference. So by mixing some bad information to the Globe and Mail, having a story come out that goes too far, then walking it back, they can look more reasonable and make the Globe and Mail look bad and say, listen, they're not very accurate when they report on foreign interference. So all these potential foreign assets within Parliament, the 11 sitting MPs in the report, this is just misinformation, disinformation. It could be, it could be a lot of things, right? This could be like maybe people in the media legitimately getting it wrong because there's so much Khalistani infiltration, and you have characters like Panoon and Sikhs for Justice claiming that they're giving advice to the Prime Minister. We know they've worked with Jagmeet Singh in the past. We know Panoon's worked with members of the Conservative Party as well. So maybe it is just some of the more conspiratorial Khalistani lunatics who have been, advising our intelligence agencies in some respect, or the government in some way. Their crazy stories might have been cataloged by the intelligence agencies. Well, they might not be serious evidence. That might have then leaked to the press, and then they treat that as evidence, and this is like the system cleaning up. It's all a big mess, but that's Canadian foreign policy for the last 9 years. To bring it back, does this look good on Canada? No. But it is a positive step in things were spiraling out of control, and it is signs that the Canadian government does feel that it does need to pull this fight back in some way, that it's not going to go to the end. We're not going to accuse Narendra Modi and the foreign minister of being involved in all these different conspiracies and then totally ruin relationships with India. So some semblance of sanity prevailed within the Canadian foreign policy establishment, so this will be commemorated as a holiday for now until eternity.
Yes, and Mr. Boardman, let's not forget that what we have seen in the past 1 month now, we have seen so much of escalation between India and Canada, diplomatic row. Now, Trudeau has condemned actions of India, these allegations, and called for respect for Canada's sovereignty. India has rejected these allegations time and again, labeling them as baseless. And in fact, we have come to know that, Canada has not even provided any solid proof to India on the allegations that have been made. On the other hand, we've seen a lot of Khalistani extremism being supported by Justin Trudeau. Do you really think that any time we will see a de-escalation of what we have seen has erupted as a row between India and Canada? Do you think some diplomatic ties can be restored again soon?
The de-escalation would come after an election. Trudeau's dead set on these ways. Is he ever going to drop this quest? Probably not. But him and Jagmeet Singh, they kind of have power. The fact that Trump's now in power in the United States and probably not going to go along with this means we're probably going to have to deal with another month of this nonsense, kind of, until Trump gets back in. And then there'll be a shift in geopolitics globally, and we'll see what the Liberals do. I think if they're going to fight silly battles, I do think Trudeau's instinct would be to fight silly battles with America. And listen, India doesn't even understand. It's hard to understand Trudeau's idea, because you're saying Trudeau's saying that India doesn't respect Canada's sovereignty. Well, Trudeau doesn't respect Canada's sovereignty. So what are we even talking about? Who's respecting Canadian sovereignty here, right? Who's defending our sovereignty? It's not this Liberal government. Are they going to secure the border? Are they going to deport illegal immigrants who shouldn't here? So who's in favor of Canadian sovereignty in this point? It seems like no one. So until Canada gets some sort of viable Canada's foreign interests aren't even in the interest of Canadians. It's so messed up. So of course no one can deal with us, and our relationships are degrading because there's no way to even benefit and reason with Canada when our prime minister is just dreaming of the day where he can jet set around the United Nations like Greta Thunberg and lecture the world on diversity and climate change forever. And it's not an effective way to run a country. So this is what it is. It's going to be this. You probably won't have to suffer him coming physically to your country again, dressing up and dancing around. So count your blessings there. But for the next however amount of Trudeau, it's going to be Trudeau with a side of Jagmeet. And that's just the way it is, and this will continue until they are out of power.
All right, thank you for joining us there, Mr. Daniel Boardman, a senior journalist live from Toronto, Canada. Take our viewers through a fresh perspective on the escalating situation between India and Canada and the latest statement from Canada. We have to move ahead, viewers, because we're getting some more breaking updates coming in. Let's go to the big breaking update. ICC issues arrest warrant against Netanyahu, but Israeli Prime Minister brands it a modern trial. Okay, this is what we're learning of right now on Republic TV. Okay, so we see the ICC, International Criminal Court, has issued an arrest warrant for Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense minister, and Hamas officials, accusing them of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the 13-month war in Gaza. Okay, and getting some more updates coming in right now, where we are seeing that the Israeli Prime Minister has absolutely refuted these charges. And we also have a reaction and the statement of Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's play it out.
The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial, and it will end the same way. 130 years ago, the French Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus was falsely accused of treason by a biased French court. In response to these false accusations, the great French writer Émile Zola wrote his monumental essay, J'accuse. He accused the French court of anti-Semitic lies against an innocent officer who was later exonerated of all guilt. Now an international court in The Hague, also headed by a French judge, is repeating this outrageous offense. It is falsely accusing me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians. This when we do everything in our power to avoid civilian casualties. We issue millions of text messages, phone calls, leaflets to the citizens of Gaza to get them out of harm's way, while the Hamas terrorists do everything in their power to keep them in harm's way, including shooting them, using them as human shields. The court in The Hague accuses us of a deliberate policy of starvation. This when we've supplied Gaza with 700,000 tons of food to feed the people of Gaza. That's 3,200 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. And these supplies are routinely looted by Hamas terrorists who deprive their people of much needed food. Yet just in the last few weeks, Israel facilitated the vaccination of 97% of the people of Gaza against polio. This doesn't prevent the court of accusing us of genocide. What in God's name are they talking about in The Hague?
So viewers, you heard the statement of Benjamin Netanyahu. Remember, the ICC, International Criminal Court, has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense minister Yoav Gallant, and Hamas officials. Let's listen into some of the reactions that have come in on this big international development that Republic TV is tracking.
After the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Denouncing the move, Israel was quick to reject the warrant in a statement issued by Netanyahu's office. Meanwhile, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, on the other hand, asserted that the move to issue the warrants must be respected and implemented.
قرارات المحكمة الجنائية الدولية يجب أن تحترم ويجب أن تنفذ. هذه مؤسسة دولية ثمة التزام باحترام قراراتها من كل الدول الأعضاء فيها، والدول الأعضاء في المحكمة هم 124 دولة، وبالتالي كل هذه الدول ملزمة باحترام هذا القرار. الشعب الفلسطيني يستحق العدالة. المؤسسات القانونية وجدت لتحاسب ولتلبي متطلبات العدالة، وبالتالي لابد من التعامل مع هذا القرار باحترام.
EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell too continued in the chorus.
As I said before, the tragedy in Gaza has to stop. And now I will be very sober in my comment. It is not a political decision. It is a decision of a court. of a court of justice, of the International Court of Justice. And the decision of the court has to be respected and implemented. So I take note of the decision of the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants from Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense, Mr. Gallant, and the Hamas leaders, Dave.
The International Criminal Court is accusing Netanyahu and Gallant and the Hamas officials of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the war in Gaza.
And getting you some more updates coming in right now. After Netanyahu, Pentagon denounces warrant. Pentagon expresses concerns over arrest warrant. Pentagon says ICC does not have the jurisdiction for this move. And we have a reaction coming in from the US. Let's go ahead and play it out.
Let me just say more broadly that we fundamentally reject the court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israel officials. We remain deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. You've heard us say this before. Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none.
We remain concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and, some of the processes that this has played out in. And again, we've been very clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter.
All right, we've been joined once more by a guest who's joining us live, Daniel Boardman, a senior journalist, once again joining us live from Toronto, Canada. Thank you for joining us here once again. This time we'll talk about the US's reaction on this warrant that the ICC has issued for Netanyahu, his former defense minister, Hamas leader, as well, Mohammed Deif. Now we know that US and Israel are quite close and they are allies. But do you think that this is the correct move by the US? Because we've seen that, Pentagon, US, they have really condemned crimes and criminal activity or wars in the past. They've always tried to mediate.
Well, of course, this is this is the right move from the Americans, and I'll throw Argentina into it and the nations. This is a travesty, a farce, an absolute ludicrous declaration of the ICC. There is no evidence of Israel committing genocide. The population of Gaza has increased the last year of this war. It is an urban war where Hamas is using human shields. There's still over 100 hostages remaining, and the casualty rate of civilian to combatant in this war is the lowest on record. We have wars raging across Syria and Sudan with higher death casualties, where you actually do have intentions of genocide, and you do have leaders talking about extermination. This is an utter farce from a corrupt ICC who's in bed with global powers that are either aligned with communist or Islamist worldviews, and you saw the complete corruption of judicial process in the international community throughout the entire thing. Most of the stories coming out come from some arm of Hamas, right? All the numbers that this is all based off are all from Hamas. Gaza Ministry of Health is Hamas. This is all from Hamas officials and in-house UN terrorist organizations like UNRWA, and we just saw Philip Lazzi, head of the EU, was meeting with other terrorist leaders. This is a complete travesty of the concept of international law. The U.S. is completely right that they don't even have jurisdiction. This is a claim made against a non-member state from another non-member entity to a place where, and the ICC only applies where, in cases where they say that there isn't a judicial system to hold the state to account. But that's ludicrous, as Netanyahu himself is going through a judicial process right now from the Israeli court system. There's a separate prosecution of him on another silly trumped-up charge, but still, it shows if the Israeli court's willing to try Netanyahu for a $10,000 gifts over 5 years to a company that was involved in media, okay, you can't prove that it doesn't have a functioning court system that holds the government to account. So no part of this is internationally valid, and this is the problem with like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the talking head media international law thing is anyone who brings up international law has no idea what international law states, and none of the countries that are accused of violating international law are actually violating the laws of international law. But they're the countries that are willing to sit there and take the abuse by a bunch of corrupt lawyers and bureaucrats.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Mr. Boardman, a senior journalist from Canada, on this story on the biggest international developments. We're taking a very short break right now, but we will be back with much more. Viewers, do not go anywhere. We'll especially be talking about the race for CM phase picks pace in Mahayuti. Future CM Ajit Pawar plastered in the Baramati constituency.
Director, the taste of success.
We will become about 11-12 trillion by 2035. We are now compounding at scale. So I call it the golden age of compounding for India.
People believe that if you're not a foreign US branded company, don't have English all over, you can't grow. Here we are sitting with a Devanagari logo in India, building out of India, for India, and still adding 40, 50, 60 million customers a year and digitizing the country.
Indian markets have been outperforming markets. If you see the mega trends, those are in favor of India, and India itself is a mega trend.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
We are live in Breaking Up. Shubhangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. And as usual, we have a lot of breaking updates for you, especially from Maharashtra as we count down to the Maharashtra election results on Saturday. By the way, join us from 8 a.m. onwards for the latest results with Arnab and team. But for now, we are also getting some breaking updates from Maharashtra. We'll tell you everything that you need to know. But as usual, the headlines that are coming in. Let's get started. Trudeau government issues statement on Nijjar killing, says no role of PM Modi, Jaishankar and NSA Doval in internal matters. India forced to stop consular services as Canada refuses to provide security even in police premises. After Adani US indictment, ICC debunks claims regarding solar panel deal with Adani, says no role of Adani in deal mentioned by the US. With 24 hours to go for the Maha verdict, the MVA holds back meeting. Sources suggest MVA in touch with independents. Supreme Court to hear the demand of the Hindu side to transfer all Yan-Vapi link cases from the lower court to the High Court. 2611 plotter Tahawwur Rana's resorts to legal recourse, moves US top court against extradition to India. Putin issues fresh nuke warning to NATO, warns UK and US against supplying arms to Ukraine.
The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial. It is falsely accusing me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and Israel's former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, of deliberately targeting civilians.
Yahoo terms arrest warning by International Criminal Court. Anti-Semitic move. US rallies behind Netanyahu. We go ahead right now to the big story coming in from Maharashtra. Before the election results, NCP's Ajit Pawar supporters have put up posters of Ajit Pawar as the future Chief Minister of Maharashtra in Baramati. That is right. And now we will put those pictures out for you as well. This is breaking update coming in right now. Viewers, ahead of the Maharashtra verdict, CM raised big space. You will see now in Baramati, Maharashtra, posters depicting NCP leader Ajit Pawar as the future Chief Minister were displayed by his supporters. And this is the poster on your screen which says future CM. And this has been plastered all over Baramati. By the way, Baramati is the same place which has seen that Pawar versus Pawar fight. Pawar versus Pawar fight, Ajit Pawar versus his nephew. So definitely a very, very important constituency. We will go to Satya Prakash joining us. Satya Prakash, is this a poster which has been put up by his supporters? Because we know that Baramati is the same place, like I was telling our viewers, and you were there too, covering these elections, where we are seeing a Pawar versus Pawar fight. Take our viewers through the latest details we're learning of.
देखिए शिवांगी, जो एनसीपी अजीत पवार गुट के समर्थक है वो बारामती में पोस्टर लगाए हैं, भावी मुख्यमंत्री का पोस्टर लगाए हैं, क्योंकि जिस तरह से एग्जिट पोल में साफ तौर से कहीं कहीं महायुति को बहुमत दिखाई दे रहा है, साफ तौर से कहीं कहीं अजीत पवार के समर्थक वहां पे पोस्टर लगाए हैं गए हैं और ये कहा गया है कि जो भावी मुख्यमंत्री महाराष्ट्र बनेगा वो अजीत पवार बनेंगे। फिलहाल ये एनसीपी अजीत पवार गुट के समर्थकों द्वारा ये पोस्टर लगाया गया है। बारामती में कई जगह पे ये लगाए गए हैं और बारामती की सीट की बात किया जाए तो वहां पर कहीं कहीं फाइट है जिसमें पवार विशेष पवार है, चाचा भतीजे की लड़ाई है। लेकिन अब देखना कि 23 तारीख को क्या वहां की जनता क्या फैसला करती है। लेकिन कहीं कहीं महायुति में भी सीएम पद को लेकर पोस्टरबाजी शुरू हो गई है। एनसीपी अजित पवार गुट के जो समर्थक वो पोस्टर लगाए हैं और मांग कर रहे हैं कि अजित पवार को महाराष्ट्र का मुख्यमंत्री बनाया जाए। शिवांगी।
Right. Yes. Satya Prakash, and before I let you go, also take our viewers through, what the sentiment really is right now, because we have seen in the exit polls as well that there is a very big chance that Mahayuti will come back. And of course, a big question would be raised that who will be the CM in that scenario, Satya Prakash? Do you have any kind of hint, idea about how that will go forward?
देखिए शिवांगी, महायुति में सातों से कहा गया, चाहे शिवसेना शिंदे गुट हो, चाहे बीजेपी हो और चाहे अजित पवार गुट हो, सारे बड़े नेता कह रहे हैं कि जब तक आंकड़े नहीं आ जाते स्पष्ट रूप से तब तक कुछ कह पाना मुश्किल है। और जब आंकड़े आएंगे तो तीनों पार्टियां जो बड़ी नेता वो साथ में बैठेंगे और इसके बाद फैसला लिया जाएगा। ये समर्थकों का मांग है। जो एनसीपी अजित पवार गुट के समर्थक है बारामती में, उन्होंने पोस्टर लगाया। ये समर्थक चाहे बीजेपी के हों, चाहे शिंदे शिवसेना गुट के हों, चाहे एनसीपी अजित पवार गुट के हों, ये डिमांड कर सकते हैं। लेकिन जिस तरह से महायुति में कहा गया है, बड़े नेता कह रहे हैं कि जब तक आंकड़े नहीं आएंगे, आंकड़े आने के बाद तीनों पार्टियां के जो बड़े नेता हैं साथ में बैठेंगे, इसके बाद सीएम पद का फैसला होगा। शिवांगी।
Right. Okay. Hold on right now. Hold on. Because we're getting more breaking updates coming in right now from Maharashtra, because things are getting quite tough and quite heated ahead of the poll results on Saturday. And right now, as we count down, VBA, I repeat, VBA is issuing a statement. This is the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi saying it will align with whichever party or alliance can establish the government. And they're saying that their priority is only one thing, that is to stay in power. Big statement coming in, will align with those who can form the Maharashtra government. This is what we are learning of right now. I want to go back to my colleague Satya Prakash, who's joining us. Satya Prakash, how do you really read this statement? Because we have seen in the past, the VBA has not really done very well in the Lok Sabha polls of 2019 or 2024 or the Vidhan polls. But they are saying that we will align with whoever is in power.
देखिए शिवांगी, लोकसभा चुनाव में बीजेपी के अगेंस्ट लड़ी थी बहुजन विकास अघाड़ी प्रकाश अम्बेडकर की पार्टी और महा विकास अघाड़ी के अगेंस्ट लड़ी थी। लेकिन इस बार कहीं के रिजल्ट पहले ही प्रकाश अम्बेडकर ने घोषणा कर दिया कि जिसकी सरकार आएगी उसको हम समर्थन करेंगे। फैसला 23 तारीख को होगा। लेकिन कहीं कहीं बहुजन विकास अघाड़ी जिसके अध्यक्ष हैं प्रकाश अम्बेडकर, और प्रकाश अम्बेडकर ने साफ तौर से कह दिया कि जिसकी भी सरकार आएगी, चाहे महायुति की आई चाहे महाविकास अघाड़ी की आई, दोनों किसी की भी एक सरकार आती है तो हम उसको समर्थन करेंगे। कहीं कहीं प्रकाश अम्बेडकर ने इशारा साफ तौर से दे दिया कि अगर उनके पास कोई आंकड़े आते हैं तो वो महायुति के समर्थन करेंगे या महाविकास अघाड़ी के। लेकिन सरकार में रहना जरूर चाहते हैं, क्योंकि लगातार जिस तरह से सरकार से वो दूर थे, सरकार को समर्थन कभी दिए नहीं। लेकिन इस बार कहीं कहीं उन्होंने रिजल्ट आने के पहले ये घोषणा कर दिया कि अगर किसी की भी सरकार आती है तो हम उसको समर्थन देने के लिए रेडी हैं। जी।
All right, thank you for joining us there, Satya Prakash, with all those details. I will be coming back to you as we track the Maharashtra polls minute by minute, and the election results, which are, by the way, viewers, is due. That is from 8 a.m. onwards on Saturday. We will be getting you all the live updates with Arnab and team. Do not miss it. Okay, we move ahead because now we see a new development in the India-Canada diplomatic row. A statement has come out from Canada. And this is the Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council and National Security Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister has said that on October 14, because of a significant and ongoing threat to public safety, the RCMP and officials took the extraordinary step of making public accusations of serious criminal activity in Canada perpetrated by agents of the Government of India. The Government of Canada has now not stated or is it aware of such evidence linking PM Modi, Minister Jaishankar or NSA Doval to the serious criminal activity within Canada. Any suggestions to the contrary is both speculative and inaccurate. Okay, we are being joined by our guest right now. Pathikrit Pine is joining us right now, a geopolitical expert. And I just want to come across to you, as you clearly see that Canada has dismissed these reports which claim that PM Modi Jaishankar had a link with the Niger murder plot. Now they're saying that no, this is absolutely untrue, but we can't forget the kind of allegations that Canada has made, Justin Trudeau has made earlier on India, on Indian officials. How do you really read this evolving situation?
Good morning, Shivangi. I look at it as hunting with the hound and running with the hare syndrome. If you look at in Canada, the media is highly controlled. Most of these media outlets do not publish anything till the time there is a green signal or nod from the government of Canada. So whatever was published could not have been published something as sensitive as that without a tacit or a formal approval from the establishment in Canada, which means that Canada, whatever it has been doing for the last, say, almost more than a year, it is in line with that. But what happened is that I think they somehow is trying to play a balancing game. The messaging is being done by these media outlets controlled by the government, and then they will come and give a denial. And I see no difference between this approach and the approach of the United States present government, which is the outgoing government. If you look at it, what they do, they come out with similar publications or news on media, and then a certain kind of denial comes from the government of United States, the spokesperson. This is like the duality of diplomacy. One side will go ahead and say, no, you have done something wrong. The other hand will say, no, we are all good. So there is a lot of double standard hypocrisy when it comes to diplomacy from the global north. Canada has literally, broken all the norms of diplomatic nuances, niceties. And I don't think these kind of corrective measures or whatever they're trying to salvage now is going to help, because I don't think India has forgotten the manner in which United States included, Canada has been trying to create a situation in which they jeopardized the security of India's diplomats residing in Canada. They threatened, they were complicit in terms of threatening the Hindu community. Even those Sikhs who are pro-India have been targeted. They were complicit, and they allowed separatist organizations to operate freely in the name of activism. I think this is all part of a larger plot. And one of the part of the plot is to come out with denials and saying that, no, we do not believe that the Prime Minister or External Affairs Minister is not linked. Whatever leaks were made, whatever allegations have been made in the Canadian media outlets, they are blatant lies, no doubt. But those things could not have been published without the authority and clearance from the top level of the Canadian government. It is double play being made by the Canadian government. This is all I come to say.
Right. Please hold on, Mr. Pine. Please hold on. We're getting some big breaking updates coming in from Canada once again. Canada school launches a contest to write a poetry about the 1984 Sikh riots. The winners are invited to Shaheed Hardeep Singh Nijjar building at Guru Nanak Gurudwara. Okay, I want to go back to Patrick Pine joining us live once again. And this is a provocation. Do you think this is coming as a provocation, given the fact that how many times India has asked Canada to be sensitive about certain issues? How do you really read this new situation which has developed?
Well, it is definitely provocative, and the sad part is that, the young people, the young generations in Canada of certain communities have no understanding of how India is. They don't know that the Sikh community in India is one of the most respected communities. There are regiments of the Indian Army which are completely consisting of people from Sikh community and from Punjab. They have Sikh like infantry, Punjab regiment, so many others. So their understanding about the relationship, the dynamics, and the contribution of the Sikh community is so low that they become gullible. So whatever is being fed to them by these things is unfortunate, but it is deliberately being done to ensure that the next generation comes up with the same kind of poison in their mind about India, and this is part of a larger plot. The sad part is they will never ask anyone to write a poetry on the 1985 Kanishka Air India bombing, and in which so many people of Indian origin who were Canadian citizens died. They will not ask anyone to write, poetry on the contribution and the valiant, the incredible amount of respect the Sikh gurus get in India. Most of the Indian temples in North India would have a portrait of Guru Nanak or Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So there is a deliberate plot to poison the minds of certain communities based in Canada and North America against India. And I am not surprised by this, because all these things cannot happen without, again, as I said, complicity and clearance from the top level of the Canadian government. And I have no optimism that even if the regime changes in Canada and the opposition party comes to power, I don't think the basic aspect of their policy towards India will change. And this is because India is growing. It is because India is emerging as a voice of global South. It is because today India is not accepting, or rather is willing to be subservient to the dictums of global North. So Canada, whatever it is doing, it's obnoxious. But I must also say it cannot again do without the permission and clearance from certain elements in the Biden administration. It is a larger plot which is going on, and we will have to face many more such things as we grow and become a $5 trillion economy by 2027. Back to you, Shivani.
Right. And before I let you go, I have one more question for you. So we see that India-Canada ties are pretty much have hit rock bottom. Just taking off from this breaking update that we have told our viewers, we have seen in the past how even in India, time and again, India has noticed, and a lot of Indian dignitaries, Indian ministers, top level of society in India, they have said and observed that Justin Trudeau is very soft on Khalistani terror. And that can be seen from the attacks on Hindu temples in Canada in the recent years. Do you really think that there could be a de-escalation when it comes to the India-Canada ties, the ties which are sour right now?
It is highly unlikely that situation will improve, because if you look at the immigration policy of Canada, a large number of people from India who used to go to Canada, I mean, you would get asylum, you would get access only if you show certain amount of anti-India sentiment, and you have to show that you have been victimized. So those premises have not changed for Canada. They will deliberately create and take such elements who have a problem with India and they disregard India. Secondly, Canada has become a second ground for ISI to operate and foment these anti-Indian sentiments. Canada openly, if you look at the issues concerning Hardeep Singh Nijjar, he went to Pakistan for arms training. There were investigation into his bank accounts. He was, indicted for giving arms training within Canada. So these things, the hypocrisy is here when it comes to terrorism hitting Canada or United States or the developed countries. They expect the rest of the world to fight on their behalf against terrorism. But the same terrorism, when it hits countries like India, they call it activism. So this hypocrisy is not going to go, and that's why I don't think the situation will improve.
Right. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Patikrit Pain, geopolitical analyst, joining us. We have to move ahead, viewers, because we're getting some updates from Maharashtra. So I want to go to Maharashtra right now. Remember, Saturday is the day when the poll results will be out. Ahead of result day, the Congress is back to its EVM bogey. Digvijay Singh concedes BJP winning both states. He says, and I quote here, but let us not forget that the strength of Narendra Modi and BJP is in the manipulation of EVM. No matter what they do, ultimately they have the Brahmastra in EVM. My contacts are aware of the realities of EVM manipulation, predicted both the elections they're winning before voting. Let's see. I hope they are wrong. So basically I've quoted what Digvijay Singh has said, and he is saying that the BJP is winning both the states. and has once again, the Congress once again jumping on the EVM bogey. So this is the big update coming in right now. We will try to connect to our colleague Satya Prakash, who is on the ground and is getting us all those updates. The Congress has once again made the EVM tampering charge, something that we have been seeing again and again in multiple elections. We have seen that the Congress has always alleged that there's some EVM tampering. They've also gone up to the Election Commission in the past elections to complain about it. So this time, once more, Congress has picked up and jumped on the EVM bogey. Big update coming in right now on Republic TV, and this is coming in right ahead of the Maharashtra elections, which, by the way, are on Saturday, results, which are on Saturday, and we're counting down to the results. We'll come to know on Saturday what the final numbers will be looking like, but ahead of the result day, the Congress is alleging poll manipulation once more. And I just read out the exact statement of Digvijay Singh, who has said that, but let's not forget that the strength of Narendra Modi and BJP is in manipulation of the EVM. All right, big update coming in right now, and this is, viewers, very important because there's so many allegations which have been made. Remember that in the past as well, the chief election commissioners have rejected the Congress's claim of EVM tampering, especially in the Haryana elections. We saw that the Congress had once again raised the EVM bogey, had jumped on the EVM bogey, and they have said very clearly, the Election Commission had said very clearly that EVMs are foolproof. And this had happened during the Haryana elections. This time, once again, the Congress is saying that, and is actually saying in a way which he means to allege that there is EVM tampering which took place in the Maharashtra elections. I just want to go to my colleague Riyanka joining us live once more. Riyanka, you know, like I was telling our viewers, the Election Commission itself in the Haryana elections told the Congress that the EVMs are foolproof. This time, just ahead of elections, Congress, Digvijay Singh, has once again jumped on the EVM bogey. Okay, we'll go back to Riyanka in just a short while, but this is the big update coming in right now on Republic TV. Remember that the exit polls and the polls of polls have already predicted that in Maharashtra, Mahayuti has a very clear edge. As we keep getting our viewers more updates, let's tell you exactly what is happening. The Congress's EVM allegations are back. Okay, Riyanka is back with us. Riyanka, please take our viewers through the latest updates coming in, Riyanka. Like we told our viewers, the Congress has always raised the EVM tampering issue when they know that the numbers are not on their side. All right, getting some issue connecting with my colleague Riyanka. We'll try to go back to Riyanka in a short while from now. But like we told you that once again the EVM charges are being leveled. EVM tampering charges are being leveled against the BJP once more by the Congress. So this is what we're learning of right now on Republic TV. We will be getting you more updates as we count down to the Maharashtra election results on Saturday. On 8 a.m. onwards, do not miss it. It will be live on Republic TV. Taking a very short break, but do not go anywhere, viewers. We will be back and we will get you the top updates and all the election-related breakings. Much more coming up. Viewers, Congress once again goes back to its EVM narrative. Stay tuned as we keep getting you more updates.
एकनाथराव शिंदे असतील, देवेंद्र फडणवीस असेल, मी असेल किंवा माझे सगळे सहकारी असतील, आपण ती योजना चांगल्या प्रकारे राबवू शकतो.
लेक लाडकी लखपती योजना देणारे पहिलं सरकार.
तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, शिंदे साहेब बोलतात तर
एक तुफान आले महाराष्ट्रामध्ये, भगवं वादळ आलेले.
मग पहिल्यांदा मराठा आणि ब्राह्मण वाद सुरू केला आणि आता मराठा आणि ओबीसी वाद सुरू केला. आपण आणून कुठे बसवलं आहे ना जातीत.
धुळ्यामध्ये ते वोट जिहाद करतायत, वोट